Introducing the future of hassle-free and seamless financial transaction. The Wallet app, empowering you to effortlessly manage your money anytime, anywhere. With the Wallet app, you can now enjoy branchless banking, wallet-to-wallet transfer, wallet-to-cash, and bank cross-border payments. Deposit at a bank and withdraw from any branch. Get ready to experience the ultimate banking convenience with the Wallet app. With just few taps on your phone, you can effortlessly add funds, withdraw, and send money to your loved ones. The Wallet app also provides a detailed history of your transaction, making it easier to track your expenses. So, what are you waiting for? Download the Wallet app today on Play Store or App Store and say goodbye to hassle of traditional banking. Forex Bureau Limited, delivering much more than money.
Ja Oil ñoom ñoo jiitu si wàllum jaay essence si biir réew mi te ñu def ko warugal pour kontaan loo suñu client yi borom moto yi ak driver yi seen jaaxare jeex na léegi pour am essence bu baax ak njëg bu yomba lii sax moo tax ñu amal leen banxaas fépp si biir réew mi pour essence bu baax bu set benn place rek la muy Ja Oil soo soxlae essence bu set essence bu baax gasoil wala kérosine naa la wax ne Ja Oil rek mooy jëmukaay ga doxantul rek si bépp banxaasi Ja Oil nga am si bànneex ak Ja Oil seen bànneex mooy suñ taxawaay moo tax ñu amal leen banxaas bépp si biir réew mi nim gën a yombee pour yow ak suñ liggéeykat yu xarañ yi naa la won ne mbégte rek nga see jël pour am essence bu baax pour say machine fenn place rek la mooy sa Ja Oil ak Ja Oil bànneex kese la moo tax sax suñ station si nekk ca Costa Road ak Banjul wàññil nañ leen njëgi essence bi foofu noonu pour am si lu leer mun ngaa call si 770-8080 322-9070 714-7273 wala 787-1321 Ja Oil, the pride of the nation.
Looking for the perfect home away from home in the Gambia? Welcome to BC's Residence, your ideal short-stay apartment in the heart of Bundum. Whether you're visiting for business, pleasure, or an extended stay, BC's Residence offers you the comfort, convenience, and privacy you deserve. Enjoy spacious, well-appointed accommodations in a peaceful neighborhood just behind Nusrat High School. Our residence combines modern amenities with authentic Gambian hospitality, ensuring your stay is both comfortable and memorable. At BC's Residence, you are not just booking a room, you're finding your perfect base to explore all that the Gambia has to offer. Ready to book your stay? Contact us today. +220 941414 BC's Residence at gmail.com. BC's Residence, Bundum, behind Nusrat High School. Your comfort is our priority.
Kabi Studios. Of course, today we're talking about ourselves, the media regulation on the spotlight. What I call it, Dr. C's media regulation. And today we'll be talking to the Secretary General of the Gambia Press Union, Modou S. Joof. Modou, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Fatou, for having me.
And of course, Madi, our favorite activist, is back on the show. Madi, welcome back to the show.
Nice to be here.
And of course, Mustapha will be joining us shortly. He's, but he'll be joining us in a minute. He was coming from Majak, so he'll be joining us to have a perspective of a journalist also, especially somebody who's doing investigative reporting to talk about it. But first, Joof, I know a lot of people are talking about this, this policy that the ministry and Pura are working on. But it's important we start with what is exactly in this document. What is the ministry and Pura seeking to do with journalists in the country?
Thank you very much once again to you and to our viewers and listeners. The government early in 2025 started a process through the Ministry of Information to develop some regulations for the media, for the Gambian media. And these regulations were about broadcasting and online content regulations, which is the mother of all the other documents, but it also included documents that relates to the registration and the licensing of online media platforms. Then another document on the registration of individual journalists with Pura. So these are the documents. The documents have been changing over time. Because when the 2025 versions came out, we issued a position paper and the government went back and adjust. And now they had the 2026 versions divided into these three categories that I've mentioned earlier. So if you look at the documents, the broadcasting and online content regulation, which I said is the mother of all the other three documents, encompasses all the three activities that they plan to do. One of which is to regulate online content, but when we reviewed these documents and we see the intent and the applications of the regulations in that document, we feel that as Gambia Press Union, also as a media fraternity, these things are not in line with international freedom of expression standards, but also local freedom of expression standards as guaranteed by the Gambian Constitution. And then we also look at it from an operational point of view. It is the government that would be responsible for registering individual journalists, giving them accreditation, and then it empowers the government to, as Pura, as a state control agency, to be able to suspend people's individual journalists accreditation, or can decide not to renew even their licenses. And you look at this, the media is mandated to hold the government accountable by virtue of Section 247 of the 1997 Constitution. So now, if this government that the media is supposed to hold accountable is responsible for handling these processes, then it's problematic, from that point of view, because you can't be regulating people who are supposed to hold you accountable. It brings some chilling effects to the media, not only about self-censorship, but they wouldn't be able to effectively, do their job, their constitutional mandate to hold the government accountable. Because maybe they would be thinking, okay, my license, I wouldn't get a license to practice journalism at first, or probably when I get one, by next year, if I am supposed to renew, they can decide not to renew it, or I can be suspended, And so that's why at the level of the Gambia Press Union, we feel, in line with acceptable international practices, that shouldn't be a government institution, a state-controlled institution responsible for such kind of regulations for the media. It should be done by an independent organization, with respect to international laws, and local laws, and international standards of freedom of expression.
So what happens to the GPU registration, GPU cards that we get as journalists? Because when you are registered with GPU, you are issued an identification card. So how different is this supposed card that or licensing that the government will be giving to journalists if this goes through? How different would it be with the one that GPU is giving?
Yes, there is quite a difference because the Gambia Press Union press cards emerged as a necessity due to attacks that were happening towards journalists, mainly from the police and as well as from political parties or political activists, and during demonstrations also, there were times we received reports about issues of mistaken identity. Certain journalists, even though they work with media house, they didn't have at the time a press card from the media house. They didn't have means of identification. And that was why the Gambia Press Union, with support from international partners, decided to bring the press card issue, and then together with a press jacket, so that if journalists are out there, covering events, especially when events are hostile, they could easily be identified, so that we can address this issue of attacks on journalists. So the Gambia Press Union press card is just for members of the Gambia Press Union, especially for freelance journalists also who do not easily have access to a press card, that they can have access to information. They can present this card if they're talking to anyone, and as journalists, to be able to have access and be able to interview people. So that was the main reason for the Gambia Press Union press card. It is not necessarily mandatory for every journalist to have, because we expect media houses to also have their own press card or staff ID cards that could identify them if they want to, when they are covering events and other issues. So, but what the government is proposing is something within a set of regulations acceptable if it's done by an independent entity, throughout the world, that then journalists are registered, in that kind of situation, and they are given, they have press cards, as well, but also they are able to subscribe to that form of independent. It's like what we tried with the Media Council of the Gambia. Yeah. If it works the way it should be, media houses should be registered with the independent regulators. Then they will be paying a subscription fee annually, because we as an industry have accepted ourselves, to regulate ourselves. Then individual journalists also need to be registered with it, and they need to be paying some subscription, maybe by renewal of their cards also, because those are funds that the regulator would utilize, as a means of income to able to run some administrative affairs. But even those payments are not supposed to be exorbitant. It's just something that's supposed to be fair.
Yeah. So Madi, this is not just journalists, because I think, if I understand, it's broader than just journalists. It goes to influencers on TikTok, and that's why I was telling somebody, some of you are keeping quiet today, and it is us, the journalists, who are speaking. But if this goes through, so many people on TikTok, on Facebook, that are residing in country will have issues with this policy. How problematic is this? Who are the people on social media who are also targeted if this policy goes through?
Practically every citizen and any entity that is utilizing social media, not just social media, but even running content production. For example, you can have a recording studio. You can have a camera studio. You go to, naming ceremonies and so on, and produce content. People doing documentaries. In the broader sense of this, it all captures, yes. And, so from that perspective, it becomes very worrying, because as you were saying, when you look at it, it means government is trying to determine, one, who is a journalist, two, who can use a social media platform, three, who can create content in it, and four, who can express ideas, share ideas, what kind of ideas, because those ideas will be based on what they put in those regulations, so that if they found your idea to be foul, according to their standard, which you and I wouldn't know because they have not stated there, they can say you are violating the requirements or the terms
of your license,
and it can be taken.
So
which is what makes this very, very serious, because, for example, social media, since you raised that, it says Pura would determine your following. So right now in the regulations and the guidelines, they did not say in order to register, if you have a certain number of followers, what is that number? He said Pura will determine that.
They will determine.
So they can determine that to be 500 people, 1,000 people, or 1 million people on TikTok, or WhatsApp, or on YouTube, or Facebook, any of these platforms, and then you need to register. And then they went further. You said they are also going to create what they call content management committee. Content management committee. So that is now to look at content. When you look at that, it's a bit ridiculous, because when it's a content management committee, how many people have Facebook pages, TikTok, YouTube? Are you going to have a committee to sit and listen to Facebook the whole day?
Watch everything.
Watch everything, so that, so that makes it even ridiculous. How are you going to enforce this, implement this? But the idea of creating a content management committee, so it means now opinion is going to be determined by them, and so which is a problem. And of course, because of that, all of this renewal and non-renewal is there. And so apart from the number of people that follow you, they also said if you have impact, if you have public impact. So there are 3 sort of requirements. So 1 is the following, 3 is public impact, 2, and number 3 is monetization. All right. So what is impact? So do I have impact? So somebody like me, I have a number of followers on my Facebook page. So, if I meet that number they are talking about, I should register with Pura. Or they say, no, Madi, you have impact on the public. You have influence on the public. So you register. Or you monetize. Okay, that monetization also is another ridiculous part. Yeah. Because, Fatou, I have subscribed to Facebook. Every month I pay $8 to Facebook. I'm enriching Facebook. I'm in the Gambia, and what I put on Facebook is empowering Facebook. I don't get anything out of it because Facebook is not monetized in the Gambia.
All social media.
So therefore, why would my government tell me if you monetize, if I got to monetize, get money from Facebook, I would have to register my Facebook somewhere in Senegal or New York, or London, outside. So I should go and register. But my government cannot make Facebook monetize Facebook in the Gambia, so that I open Facebook in the Gambia, I verify my account, and I get paid for the content I put there, or the number of followers I have, YouTube or TikTok, and so on. So you don't do that. But then you want to control because I have a large following. So, you see another ridiculous element of this thing, and this is why, in other places I have conversation, I said, we should not allow government to divert the issue.
Yes.
We should come back to government's role, because what they are doing in this regulation, that is not their role.
It's not their role.
We should rather talk about what is the role of the Ministry of Information? What is the role of Pura? And are they fulfilling that role? Because what is clear, by international law, by Gambian law, the job of the government is not to register journalists, to determine who is a journalist. Social media is not the job of the government to register social media. We have, as you've said, a lot of local laws to deal with that. And I give, I said this yesterday or so, with someone as well. As an evidence of that, we saw Alaji Mamadi Quran and Ami Bensouda issue. Where was Mamadi Quran expressing himself about Ami Bensouda?
On Facebook.
On Facebook. And based on that, the other party feels they will take action. The law is there to deal with that. And then they went to court. So you don't need to worry about what. My government need not worry about what Mamadi Quran is saying.
The laws take care of that.
If I go to Facebook today and insult you, the laws are there to deal with that. So it's not governments who go listening to every social media what they are saying. And the recent case of this lady in Senegal, this Gambian lady, party thing, Aisha. Again, it's a social media thing. And things happen there. So clearly, government need not worry about what happens in social media.
Yeah.
I mean, the laws are there. If you, I mean, and that is not even to talk about the GPU codes of conduct and individual media houses code of conduct and journalism as a whole, its own code of conduct about reporting about violence, reporting women, reporting about children, reporting about cases. There are so many guidelines in the media community set standards that, you know, restraints that, you know, are about professional and ethical considerations. So as if, because when you look at this, as if nothing like that exists. So you wonder, why is the government doing this? So this is a diversion. We should rather go to talk about, but you, Minister of Information, what are you doing about monetization?
Yeah.
Yes. You talk about Pura, what are you doing about quality of our internet? Talk about that, the cost of internet. Talk about that. You don't deal with that. All of a sudden you jump, you want to go and control journalists. And, you know, if allow me like a bit of history to this, you know, Jammeh created this idea first in 2002. You know, and people resisted. So I'll encourage the journalists, but the rest of governments to resist. Because at that time, I remember writing an article, the Media Commission Bill, killing the voices of the people. That was my article. The article went until it appeared on the floor of the National Assembly. It was made, reference was made to it by Baba Job. He was its majority leader at that time. So, and what I explained was how this is not just about the media, but it is going to kill our voice as the sovereign owners of this country. It was fought against, eventually it died. But when you fast forward, Fatou, you go to 2013, they amended the Information and Communication Act. And they put their criminalizing online. 15 years in jail or $3 million in fine. All right. Why? Because again, you want to kill the voice of people. You want to kill the demand for transparency, for accountability, to hold our, you know, government people to account. And that, you know, Barrow's manifesto in 2016, they mentioned it, they will change all of those laws that infringe of human rights, democracy, and popular participation within 6 months of coming to power. That's what Barrow said, 2016. But the law is still there. When Ibrahim Asila was the Minister of Information, he said he was going to amend that part in the National Assembly. The law is still there. So now we get to this point, and we are seeing this. So what for me is showing is, you know, that dictatorial path we've been on. Because Jammeh, who began in 1994, 22nd July, 25th July, Fatou, I was at State House, 1994. Jammeh, then the junta, Lieutenant Jammeh, they had press conference. And Jammeh said they will not introduce dictatorship in this country. It became the headline for the Daily Observer. And said the media, he said it plainly, direct, media criticize me if we go wrong. 1994, July. By no shots are there showing Barrow
holding a press brief.
And I remember at that time a media ceremony, you know, at Gaia, you know.
We were there.
I remember telling one of the young journalists, hey, don't shout
Don't
yet.
celebrate.
You know, no, Madi, now I said no. Because Jammeh said this day, and now we are seeing this thing. It's too early, just, you know, and now we are here.
We're here.
So we have to resist, that's all.
We are going to resist. Instead of advocating for people, now we are advocating for ourselves. We'll definitely come back to the monetization. Because this is a conversation that's the narrative we should push to government. Because I had the first interview I had with Ismail Assise here. We talked about monetization. Every minister that comes, I talk to them about monetization. The impact that is going to do to this country, the economic impact is going to have. But it looks like they're not interested. Instead, they are interested in strongly media companies. If they take everything away from you, at least if you are monetizing, you will not be stronger. But they want to take that also from you. That is why they are not interested.
Also, just to add what you've said in terms of the media commission, media council. The media council was launched by Ibrahim Asila when he was Minister of Information in 2018.
So
again, going back to refusing the diversion. Because we had this current Minister of Information saying the Media Council is ineffective. Now that is your problem, because whether at the African Commission level or at the UNESCO level, it requires states to support independent self-regulatory mechanism. So the question now is, Dr. Ismaila Ceesay, are you supporting the Media Council?
No.
And or how should you support the Media Council? Then lamenting about it and then going around to create a draconian law.
That is something we will have to look at. Mustapha, as a practicing journalist, how problematic do you think this policy, if it goes through, will be to you and other practicing in the industry?
Thank you. I think that the concern of the union is the concerns of all practicing journalists. And it's the same issue. I mean, whoever controls he who pays the piper determines the tone of the music. And so journalists are supposed to be independent by the nature of their job, because the relationship between a journalist the most problematic thing, in fact, where I was going to start, is how state actors see journalists. So you hear them say, we are partners in development, we are allies, but we are not.
You're not.
Yeah, we are not allies. You have a job, we have a job. So you do yours, we do ours. So how you perceive that relationship and how you define it affects the way you look at it. And then this leads to actions that are not necessarily in the interest of the public. So the journalists are the auditors. The government operators are the accountants. Now, how do you find a situation where an auditor the accountant decide the rules for the auditors? That accountant will never be found culpable.
No.
Because this guy is supposed to come and look at your books and see where you go wrong. And you are the one who determines the rules for that person.
To operate.
It's going to be problematic. And so that is how they see this whole relationship. And they need to the first point is to change how they see the relationship. And they also secondly see us as beneficiary of this democracy they created. Okay? Now, we are not beneficiaries of this democracy. We are fundamental architects of this democracy. I mean, if there is any industry that's being here fighting for this democracy, it's us. Before politicians, we created the politicians. I mean, EF Small, for example, was trading between politician and a journalist. And if you see,
force a journalist.
Yeah, force a journalist. And in fact, if you see all the early journalists, they were forced journalists. All the early politicians, they were forced journalists. They first needed to create that space first, democratic space, that public investigative space first, that advocacy space first, before they could create the political space, because the political space was a byproduct of that advocacy, right? So we created this democracy. We're not beneficiaries. And even if you go fast forward to 2017, we are not beneficiaries. I mean, I've heard Ismaila says they did not boycott Jammeh. Jammeh was very harsh. He was doing all sort of things there, but they didn't boycott them. And now I am, supposedly he didn't say this, but now I am the democratic guy. I'm trying to help them. They are boycotting me. I mean,
that's not even accurate.
Yeah,
it's not
because
accurate,
with the 2002 Media Commission bill,
there
was a 1 week blackout
and
before the bill was.
And
this is not even a blackout. This is not a blackout.
This is just the Ministry of Information.
This was limited to him.
Him alone. And that's what we are keeping him.
And his agencies.
Yeah, him alone.
Okay, this was limited to him and his agencies. And the whole point also so maybe I'll come to that later. But it's a perception. It's how he sees us. Okay, they don't see us as people who, we are outside of the government, but we are inside of the infrastructure of governance. But we are outside of their conventional government setup. So they cannot see us as part of that. We are allies. No, we are not. We are not part of that group, right? We are outside of the group. And so that is how this arrangement works. And so the government needs to understand that. So that is why there are limitations as to how they ought to regulate how we behave. Okay? And even if you look at the current arrangements, and I think Barrow administration, Ismaila, should look at what has happened between 2017 to now. And look at it with modest appreciation and say, look, we and the media have done some good job. I mean, or should I say media has helped us to do some good job. Because, for example, all the accountability issues that Barrow boast about, they are as a result of media work. I mean, even the Dr. Banja case was as a result of the media work. The Jame Asset issue was as a result of the media work. I mean, if you look at Project Rescue Children, the British charity that was operating here, the Penny Appeal case, the Ministry of Justice actually took the Penny Appeal case out of court. It's the media report that made them, compelled them to bring it inside the court. Right? The diplomatic passport scandal, a lot of things happen that as a result of the media work. Right? So if the media did not exist, we wouldn't even have an accountability modestly as we have at this point. So they should look at that relationship and appreciate it and say, look, a lot of the things we praise ourselves for right now actually works that were delivered to us by the journalist. That's what we praise ourselves for right now. So if those journalists did not exist, how would this space have looked like? You know, so there is so much that Ismaila and others are missing, and they could even take some credit for some of the good things that have happened. The president could take credit for some of the good things that have happened. But instead of building on that, they are more interested in obsessive control of not just journalism, but outcome of journalism work. Because look, the truth needs to be told. I mean, I think that the problem is that the government wants to control the outcome. They want to control the media work so that they stifle investigative journalism. They stifle critical journalism. That's the sole outcome of this.
But do you think...
because there are a number of things that happen leading up to this. I mean, cozying up to the media, paying media houses for positive coverage and things like that. And so in the lead up to the elections, you now come up with a crucial bill, regulation like this to sort of moderate. And I like the word you say, content moderation. It's true, to moderate content. And so that has serious political implications. Now, we are not political players.
We're not.
Okay, you can win, if Barrow wins his third-term elections legitimately, that's his show.
We'll still be
so he has control over that. We don't have control over that. But what we have control over is to present the case to the Gambian people as the current architecture of governance is, to make them make legitimate decisions. Now, if they make that legitimate decision and choose Barrow, that's the Gambian people's legitimate sovereign decision. That's not our decision. But the responsibility we have is to make sure that the Gambian people have all the information they need to make that decision. Now, how they make that decision and in whose favor they make that decision, that's not our call. Now, Ismaila can busy himself with how he make Barrow the choice. He can busy himself with that. But how he now tries to control what information we present to the Gambian people to make that election rigging in itself. Because information is the most critical thing for election decision. If you control information that the public receives, you control the outcome of elections. The Russian election, so-called Russian election rigging of America, we forget, it's not ballot stuffing.
No.
It was information rigging. And so the media cannot allow the government to control a critical space like the media. And also the public cannot allow the government to control the critical space and he forgets that. In fact, we have a better rating than the government, right? The people trust us more than they do the government, right? I mean, even the recent survey.
The survey shows that. You could see even the survey, last press survey shows that the main source of political news in the Gambia, number one, is Facebook, TikTok, and then WhatsApp groups. These are the three main sources of political information. And that happened a few months back. And now this is coming. But again...
But they trust us. So how can you come to me? They trust me more than they trust you. You come to me and say, I'm trying to make you responsible. How do you...
You've said something.
It goes to what you have just said. So knowing the trust journalists, knowing the influence of TikTok and Facebook, as in the Russian-American case, they have rigged the information.
Rigged the
information by controlling the managers of information for the content that they will bring out. So it will be content that will be favorable that the people would have. You know, CNN used to have this advert. you are what you know.
Yes, definitely.
Yep.
Yeah.
Everything you know.
So if these things come into play, these proposals, then you are going to censor yourself, or they censor you.
That's where I'm
and
coming.
all the other talk shows and all the fact checkers and all the independent-minded people who are there doing analysis, so they'll all censor themselves. So people are going to get a certain kind of information that is favorable.
You know, this is coming within a context part. I've thought about this for a very long time when I saw this coming. Because for me, I'm not bothered about this coming into force. I've made it clear from onset. I will not register. Even if the GPU did not boycott, I will not be registered. I will not register. I'm not going to go to Pura. We created this democracy. I was with Barrow throughout the 10 days to report on his political activity. Dr. Njokuba was opposed to this freedom. And now I entertain the idea that I should somehow go and sit in front of Dr. Njokuba to grant me a freedom to become a journalist.
Yes.
I mean, nobody should accept that. So for me, we were clear. Like, even if you insist on going ahead with this record, we will not be subjected to it. And part of the things is, and that Ismaila should be very grateful for, not grateful for, but at least understanding of, is that we have always accepted a working relationship. One time he called me, I went to his office. He called me a particular Friday, I want you to come to my office. I told him, when can I come? I went and I see him. He told me what he needs to tell me. And that every journalist is within that reach, right? And every journalist has an acceptable working relationship with government. But on the word acceptable.
Acceptable.
So you have a job, I have a job, and our job are not the same. So don't make it look like we are allies. No, we are not.
We're not.
And so if you look at, so for example, the public that we serve, that public expects us to watch over the executive, the parliament, and the judiciary, and report to them. So you now come and say, okay, now, but we, the executive, should now also control you. It doesn't work like that. So the law that is supposed to control us will be made in accordance with all the other sectors, including the parliament. And that law, all of us are subject to that. But aside from that law, you cannot bring any other way to sort of control how information, what information we have access to, how we publish that information, and all of that thing. It's a very, but if you look at even all of the conduct of the minister within the past, within the past few months, a pattern emerges. I mean, probably a year or less, a pattern emerges. Now, Ismaila has come with an understanding that, I mean, I'm not diminishing all the things he has done, but he was more political in the role he played as an information minister. And in that, within that context, that a pattern emerges where he tries to be so much into content creation. Okay. So we would have appreciated him if he limits himself to policy. And we don't have a problem with that. If he limits himself to policy and popularize whatever government is doing, that's his role. Okay. But even popularization in itself was not himself that is supposed to do that. He has institutions under him whose role is that. Now, the reason why I said a pattern emerges that a couple of days ago, Ismaila, some of his folks contacted us and said they are creating a fact-checking unit. Not a fact-checking unit necessarily, but they wanted us to invite us to a meeting of fact-checkers. And so I accepted to be there because, like I said, I treat him as somebody who, in good faith. Okay, so I said I was going to be there, and I returned the message to our press officer to say I will be there. And then fast forward, this issue happened, the union took a decision, we had a meeting and the union took a decision. And so I decided that I wasn't going to go to that meeting. But later on, of course, I'm sure they knew that we are not going to come, given what happened. And so they said they canceled that meeting. And then they created a WhatsApp group of fact checkers and now wanted me to be added onto that group. I mean, can you imagine Ministry of Information that is that is the filter of gold government disinformation and misinformation, all kind of government propaganda, now being in charge of content, of fact-checking or creating a group of fact-checkers.
And content creation.
But that is that is what I am saying. Now, that is one part. Now, the second part is the Ministry of Information. Okay, so he created Ministry of Information into this giant information machine. Okay, and he's going all out to turn the ministry into its own content production department. Okay, as opposed to Ministry of Information's role is policy. Policy, and they empower institutions under them. GRTS to be a normal broadcaster. You see the rating, terrible. Yeah. The public is saying they don't trust GRTS. Yeah. Right? And that's been the story. Yeah. Right? So your job is to fix that institution. Right? Is to make GRTS more trustworthy, is to make them more politically unbiased. Okay? To make the journalists more trained. I mean, better social media. It's terrible QTV is doing a better social media reporting than GRTS. Yeah. They barely start journalism. They are doing more. Go to their YouTube and compare the two, or their Facebook and compare the two. GRTS sometimes when I see GRTS feeds, I think of obituary, because I mean they hardly do anything on Twitter or Facebook. I don't even think they have a Twitter account, TikTok account. So you are a minister in charge of that. Focus on government information department. Okay. Go to the newspaper that's been published by government information department. They are doing abysmally poor. They've been there since independence. And we are here, they can only publish 2 times or 3 times a week. Right? Make it go daily if you wish. If you wish, turn it into a news agency. Yeah. Okay? Create state news, create integrity, not just value, not just growth, but create integrity in state news publications. So, and the third thing is he's not focused on also the issue of government's own mandate. So in this country, there is a tendency we look at government like this institution owned by parties or people in charge of parties. And so therefore, your job is to help the party to stay in power. But that is not the function of the government. The function of the government is to serve the citizens. So every institution it creates has a mandate to serve those people. That's the only reason why it exists. Now, if you create an information ecosystem that is only meant to keep a party in power, you are abusing taxpayer resources. Okay? So he can do all of this if he wish. That is for his legacy. For us, that is not our mandate. Okay, we are focused on our mandate. So that is why when he came up with this, we said we are sorry. We're not going to be party to this. And he keeps saying GPU, they don't want to dialogue. But this is misinformation. Now GPU had a meeting with him. A dialogue where Joof can tell you about it. GPU dialogue with him. And they told him our red line. Like for example, if I have a meeting with you, Fatou, and I'm supposed to have verified being streamed on Kerr Fatou, and I come up with say, I want verified on Kerr Fatou, but I want also a share in your revenue, in Kerr Fatou's revenue. I mean, come on. That's a non-starter. You are going to tell me, I'm sorry, Mustapha, we cannot have this conversation. Because I just start with a red line. So he called us and start with a red line. I want Pura to register you. And now he is changing even that saying, no, I didn't say registration.
It's mandatory. It's voluntary.
So that is very important because, and a lot of people also approach me on this, officials from Pura themselves, and they were like, oh, you guys should have come, you guys should have participated, boycotting, you should be on the table and stuff like that. But the minister is saying, he was caught on mic saying, boycott. That's what he's saying underneath. But he went on Peter and said, you guys should come on dialogue. What was how did that happen? Why didn't GPU have a conversation with the minister or dialogue and just see how this can be managed properly?
So just to give context to this, if you look at since the change of government, our relationship with the government previously as Gambia Press Union was really bloody and also very unfriendly and confrontational because of the dictatorship.
Yeah.
But if you look at since the change of government, the Gambia president have changed its ways of engaging government.
Yeah.
And for a lot of things that we have made so that the government is informed from the beginning and involved in what we do, because we need them, on the things that we do, and a lot of it, and that's why we were able to work together to bring about the access to information law, initiated by the Gambia president, working with Tango, civil society, together with the Ministry of Information then, and the Ministry of Justice then. Batambedu was there at the time, and Sila, that we were able to have this access to information law. So if you look at these issues of online content regulations with Pura, it didn't start now. Back in 2022, because that was the time I became the Secretary General of the Gambia Press Union. And at that time, Pura had these regulations. They shared with us in 2022. Then Jahate was my program manager, right, before he left. And Nasiruddin was our freedom of expression officer. We sent them to Pura, to sit with them and review these online content regulations. It was problematic, and we gave them all the feedback that they need to make it good for broadcasting content, and online, for broadcasting regulations. It was only then a broadcasting regulations, because Pura mostly deal with the broadcast media, radio and television. But they didn't effect any changes on that document. In 2023, we met them again on the same document. The feedback we gave them is still there. They have not improved on them. In 2024, the same thing. And in 2024, they said they were going to set up a committee. The GPU will be part of it, and the Media Council will be part of it to help them, put together that broadcasting content regulations in line with our code of conduct. And at the same time, at that time, they were also discussing with the Media Council until they were going to work on a memorandum of understanding for Pura to cede content regulations to the Media Council of the Gambia and focus on spectrum and licensing management and those kind of stuff. But it didn't stop there. The consultations that the Gambia president have pursued, it didn't only stop there. When Lamin Kunjame was appointed minister, we paid him a courtesy call and said, in terms of media regulation, we want to strengthen the Media Council of the Gambia. Dr. Sise, when he was appointed, we paid him a courtesy call and said, in terms of media regulations, we want to strengthen the Media Council of the Gambia. So we have already brought this thing to them before, but the government has not received it, and they have not really listened to us and acted on it. Instead, they decided that they want their own thing, to control the media. So the idea of that the Gambia president is not interested in dialogue or consultations is inaccurate. Yes.
Even on this particular subject,
it is inaccurate.
The GPU met him.
Yes.
I mean, GPU had told him
Yeah.
what their position is.
Yeah.
Okay, and they told him, look. So he insisted on going ahead. Imagine, I mean, don't start a conversation with a red line. Nobody does that. If you go and say, I want the journalist to come to Pura and be registered to practice journalism. In fact, the initial name is accreditation policy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So you want to issue accreditation, government-based accreditation to journalists.
Yes.
It's a red line.
Yeah.
Even Kim Jong-un doesn't do this.
Yeah.
Okay? So you start a conversation with something Kim Jong-un doesn't do. And we tell you, we are not doing that.
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay? So now what he should have done, and we are, like we said, we wanted, why would we, what interest do we have not having a working relationship with Ismail? We worked with him until this point. Okay?
I mean, yeah, go ahead.
So the long and short of it is between you and Mustapha. The minister, I mean, it's surprising he's not aware, but he needs to know what his job is. He has overstepped his bounds. And as Mustapha said, he's turned himself into a content creator, a content manager, and trying to give himself and the government a role that they don't have. All right. Look at the when he goes to media platforms and the Amazakunda.
Yeah.
You want to run down a whole list, so-called updates. This is what we've done. You have GRTS. In sometime 2018, I was part of a committee for the review of media laws under the ministry. At the ministry, then Deja was minister. with the idea of transforming GRTS into a real public broadcaster. You know, at EF Small Center, we are monitoring GRTS for the past 1 year. They don't cover opposition political parties.
They don't,
All right. Now, if you are a Minister of Information, given our history, these are the things you correct. All right. If you go to South Africa, SABC, they cover Malema. Blasting the South African government. I mean, you go to UK, BBC, they cover Jeremy Corbyn or Nigel Farage. So we have to be serious. And you need a minister who should come now to say, I want a better republic. So public media, this is what they should be doing. You know, but as he said, you have Gambia Daily, Gambia Info. It should have been a daily newspaper, one of the...
You can even turn it into a news agency.
But even there, you know, you could have made it a daily newspaper. All right. So you have all of those things. So the minister does not need to be a content producer, a social media influencer, and so on. Deal with policy, deal with capacity building. I mean, create a situation for a level playing field. Look at how can we empower our TikTokers, our YouTubers, our Facebook, you know, anyone Gambian on social media to get benefit from it. All right. Those kind of things. All the other laws they are dealing with, you know, anything that you think is fearful. All right. Those laws are there. Both within the media community, I mean, GPO has their Cherno Jalo principles, you know, on ethical journalism also. Or they have code of conduct on reporting women and children. Individual journalists have that as well, and so on. So there's a lot of things. I mean, there are a lot of things that the Ministry of Information and Pura should be doing. And as he said, Pura, the issue of broadcasting online content issue should be divorced from Pura. Let Pura deal with telecoms, utilities, and, you know, petroleum, those kind of things, which they are not doing very well.
They are not.
All right? So deal with that and empower the Gambia Media Council. All right, which when you go to Senegal is what you'll find there. When you go to Ghana, that's what you'll find there. When you go to Nigeria, that's what you'll find, and so on and so forth. So empower those things to deal with them, but to create a presentation as if there's no media, there's no regulation in the Gambia. Like at all. And two, journalists are refusing to be regulated. All right. And number three, there's a crisis.
And there's no crisis online.
You know, there's a huge crisis
every night in this place.
I see. That that's your place. I'm coming back to
So he's creating those kind of narratives. So, I mean, that's why somebody said, but Madi, journalists should, why are media afraid of being regulated?
They don't understand.
Because the rest of the population, a lot of people just don't understand these things.
And that's where I want to come in. Censorship, self-censorship. Because it looks like this is a pattern. For example, somebody like Mustapha, you will not catch him on advertisement because he doesn't seek for it, right? You will catch me on advertisement, but you can take it all. I know where to survive because I diversify. I don't depend. But there are certain people who will solely follow the government because they want that, right? But one thing any journalist will not compromise is their license to operate. Now, if you cannot catch me through getting the money, what I can catch you on is to take your license. And if I am supposed to write a story about this government, but it's the same government that is going to give me a license, I'm going to look at that again. And this is what they're trying to do, especially in election year. Now, what do I do as a journalist? Moderate myself. Because I know this firsthand because I used to have all these parastatal government agencies advertising with me. And sometimes nobody tells me anything, but sometimes I remember when Mustapha was here, sometimes when we have stories coming, investigative stories, Mustapha, but to follow the contracts will renew. Just, we have a timing because we were worried. I would say, Mustapha, just wait until we do our renewals, put this story, shelf it, it will come, but let's time it properly. By then we had signed contract. I was self-censoring myself because I was looking at the money, but eventually it will come. Now, when they took my contracts, I said to myself, I found my voice all over again. Yes. And this is something a lot of us would not know until you experience
it. But that is why, you see, I made a post and I spoke about this.
Yeah.
That's the kind of thing Ismaila is creating.
Creating.
Okay, he's making people desperate.
Yes.
When you try to make people desperate, you now radicalize the media space.
Yeah.
And that's not something you want to do, because even in that case, there are instances when even professional journalism suffers.
Yeah.
Okay, because people, if journalists find no reason for you, they will make sure you leave.
Yes.
Yeah.
You will lose.
And that's what happens on Jammeh.
Yeah.
There was a point when journalists considered this guy a threat to our profession.
Yeah.
And their whole goal was Jammeh has to leave.
Yeah.
Yes. And so journalism transformed into something
else.
So there was a combination of activism and journalism. This is something you don't want.
You don't want.
Like there is journalism and there is activism, and journalists are advocates in themselves. Yeah. But they prepare the data and they hand over to advocates, activists take it up, and now so you don't want a merger of this.
A merger of these two.
And so that is the kind of environment he intends
he's trying to create that he doesn't understand. Yeah, but the fear that journalists will be scared that they will lose their license or accreditation, and then they will have to conform to whatever government wants. That is very scary.
Yeah, and that is if I may add, is a press freedom violations. And also, the government not advertising with the media or withdrawing advertisement is also a press freedom violation.
Absolutely.
The government has an obligation. This is not something that we are begging of the government. It has an obligation to create an environment for the media to be economically viable, especially the private media. This is an obligation on the government by virtue of the African Union, the Declaration of Principles on freedom of expression and access to information in Africa, done by the African Commission on Human and People's Rights under the African Union. And the Commission is pushing for African Union member states to implement this.
And done in Banjul.
And it was done here in Banjul.
Okay.
Yeah, both in 2002 and the revised version in 2019. And that the government should, according to this declaration, provide subvention to the private media. Not only that, it should also advertise with them and should not punish media organizations that are critical by withdrawing advertisement. If they do, that is a press freedom violation. And also, if you look at the global press freedom rankings, one of the criteria that they look at is the economic situation of the media.
Yeah.
And they look at how government is treating them in terms of advertisement and subvention. The Gambia's lack of subvention for the private media is affecting our press freedom rankings annually. It's always mentioned there. And as far as the African Union is concerned and the African Commission, subvention must not come with any strings attached. No, it must not. It's a matter of must that the government has to do it, and it should do it. It's only in the Gambia that they are not doing it. But you go to Senegal, Ivory Coast, Togo, everywhere they are doing it because they know it's an obligation on the government, to provide that economic avenue for the media, private media, to thrive. The public media is getting, or the government media is getting funding annually from the national budget. It's not doing more of a public service role work than the private media. If you look at any online platform in the Gambia, or any newspaper, or any radio or TV, if they publish or broadcast one critical story about the government, they have published 20 more stories that are in favor of the government, free advertisement for government development and
press
program.
Releases,
this is what the president said, this is what the minister said, this is, so because of that public service role, it is acceptable internationally, everywhere, that the government should subvent the private media. This is not something that anybody needs to beg the government. The government should take up its duty and its obligation and fulfill that mandate, and also provide advertisements to the media, the private media, and must not withdraw advertisement from any private media because they are critical. No. Yeah.
Well, interesting. Madi, you said something, and I think we need to look at that. The role, every time the minister speaks, it looks like the private media is biased, and we are against government, and and this is all the reason why they're doing this, all of these control mechanisms. But when you look at the public media, GRTS, they have not covered. There was a circular that came out to say they were not going to cover
industrial
Opposition.
action.
No, I think this C guy might have been
This is more dangerous.
the worst
The worst. So I'm sorry. to say.
MD.
Yes.
I mean, recently he is definitely the worst.
Yes.
Ibrahim Silla, when Ibrahim Silla was at that place,
When he was there was critical.
That's
voice.
when Good Morning Gambia was created.
Yes, that's where when this guy also
Even the other guy.
Ansu's program, they are all there.
Yeah.
My show was there. I remember me and Ibrahim used to fight. This will come, this will not come.
Even after Ibrahim, the UN guy who came,
Yes.
who passed away.
Yeah.
Some form of journalism exists.
Some form existed.
Now, GRTS has the highest attrition rate in media.
8 o'clock news when Barrow is when
Oh, wow.
8 o'clock news. Like I started with GRTS when I was 17 years old.
Yes.
And during Jammeh's time, there was never a day that the 8 o'clock news will be shifted. No, Jammeh doesn't even do direct programs. Modou Sanya knows very well that they would not do direct for him. What they will do, record his programs, edit it, and serialize it. After the 8 o'clock news, they will bring one part. After the 10 o'clock, they will bring part 2. Highlights. We used to call it highlights. But with this new administration on GRTS, when Barrow is doing a rally, political rally, I'm not talking about government events, political rally in Sukuta, they will live stream it live on Facebook and GRTS TV, and the 8 o'clock news will be cancelled. I have never seen that in my entire life.
Yeah.
But it is okay. Nobody talks about that. And that is okay. NPP never pays for any rally. But we publish, when we put political press conferences live or any events, and we are private media, they consider us biased. But they're not talking about the role of the private media. I think this is something that we need to throw back to the minister.
The public media is our money.
Definitely.
That is our money.
Yes.
We pay the taxes. Every telephone calls that you make, GRTS levy is taking out of all of these GSM companies.
Yes.
Every single person is paying. Government is subventing them. They don't need all this advertisement, nothing. All they need to do is government giving them. Their budget goes through government lines. So if we are all paying for GRTS, but the minister and the GRTS is telling us no opposition, no critical voice, Madi can never be on GRTS.
No way.
No way. My show was stopped on GRTS, this show, because I had Usainu Darboe on and they said they were not going to air it. I said, well, if you don't air this one, I'm not bringing another episode. And that's how we ended. I did not pay them. They did not ask me for that money because my contract was just terminated just because of that. So instead of the minister fixing that, he's talking about these things. How possible is that?
Yeah, I also want to add on the GRTS issue. With regards to its the way they do journalism there. It is not just a moral obligation for us as journalists to promote divergent views. GRTS, by virtue of the provision of the Constitution, is supposed to promote divergent views. You know, and that's what they do. And also, if you see the act, the law that established GRTS is outdated. It needs to be reviewed. Absolutely. And what we have been proposing at the level of the Gambia President, even previously we wanted to help with the government, is to push for it to be made, transformed into a public broadcaster, having an independent board, you know, and a managing director, what's the name?
Director General.
Director General. This shouldn't be political appointments. Yeah, if you want to transform that institution, that public into a public broadcaster, those appointments, the board and the director general shouldn't be political appointment. They should have a certain degree of editorial independence to be able to reflect the views of everyone in the country. Because this is freedom of expression, and we have to promote democracy, you know. So with GRTS, of course, in our first meeting with Dr. Sise, we've mentioned that there was a need to reform, but he told us that GRTS is a no-go area. And the government, because the government is misusing this public institution, that is it.
It looks like they don't consider GRTS part of the media. They are government institution. The rest of us are measured to a certain level, and GRTS is an exception.
So it goes back to what Mustapha said, the purpose of government. So that officials, how are you perceiving public institutions? Are you perceiving public institutions to keep a certain government in place, to serve a certain, person or party's interests, and not to serve the people? So that when you look at GRTS, but you can look at across the public institutions in whatever area you can imagine. I mean, how you are providing development service, goods and services to the people. I mean, are you doing it with the intention to merely serve because you have thought out this thing, evidence-based, to look at the very strategic needs of the country and the people and provide it accordingly? Or are you providing development service in such a way that it goes to favor, the existing power? So that when you look at GRTS, we have all lamented about GRTS long before.
Yeah.
All right. Now we see GRTS going back to those Jame days where, it gives unlimited coverage, even at time of news, to the president. And then they come with this narrative that, but this is the president. So that whether it is a partisan activity, but even if it is a meet the people store, I mean, GRTS does not need to follow meet the people store and to just relay it.
Live stream.
Yes, bring news out of it, bring it into a certain programming to discuss it and so on. And, especially meet the people that has now been made so partisan. But that is the approach. Proscribe opposition completely out of it. Remove all critical voices on GRTS. I mean, like you said, I take it that I'm unofficially banned from GRTS since 2018 or 19.
Oh my God.
I mean, I've never been there. Recently, towards this election, out of a blue, they contacted me that they have a certain special program in the context of our independence. I said, fine. I mean, which was surprising to me, GRTS contacted me. When I had contacted GRTS, I understand, to appear on their morning show, Good Morning or something like that, to promote our launching of Edward Francis Small. And it was, okay, we'll get back to, and they never will. They will never there. And then this thing came. But when I saw the topic, I said, no, I'm not going to take part in this. I'm not here to come and celebrate great things that you think are happening in this country. We should have serious conversation. So this is what the minister needs to deal with. And it is so disappointing, Fatou, because we are talking about a minister who is young, who has, we can all remember him talking about the dictatorship in this country, who is well educated, well exposed around this world. I understand. So if anyone should know better, it should be Dr. Ismail Cisse. That as my legacy, I am going to change this environment so that GRTS becomes a truly national broadcaster. As you've said in our constitution, section 208, it is there that the GRTS public media, print and broadcast will provide, will be open for divergent and dissenting opinions. All right. So this is what GRTS should be doing, and so add value to the money that we are putting it. But not doing so, you are just wasting our money. And then the other media institutions that are under the Ministry of Information. So it is rather unfortunate. As I said, we are tracking GRTS, and so far this is what we've seen. And it's rather unfortunate.
And today's survey even shows that the Gambian people think the GRTS is biased. The separate survey that came out, 49% said...
And we don't even need a survey.
We don't even need a survey. We can do it by watching.
The point is also, like I said, I think it's the perception of that. So for me, and they said, you guys, you only talk about bad news. And I tell them, look, my job is reporting on bad news. That's my job. Okay. You don't go to Anti-Corruption Commission and say, oh, Anti-Corruption Commission, you are always investigating corruption.
That's what his job is.
Because that's what their job is. So my job as an investigative journalist is to go and investigate wrongdoings and bring it out to light. So that I help government notice that and fix it. That's my job. So if you criticize me for doing that, you're just wasting your time. Because for so long as I exist and so long as I continue to do the job, that's what I will do.
And
now,
that's the work that would save the government a lot of millions.
A lot of money. I mean, look at it. If we didn't start these Jame asset conversations, most likely a lot of the ongoing waste that is happening
will continue.
Compared as a respect of its asset, it will continue.
It will continue.
Okay, and a lot of other things that probably we are talking about right now, we won't be talking about them. So that is the relevance of journalism. Right? And there are a lot more cases Barrow himself, Barrow administration could look back at and say, well, these are some of the key accountability milestones we have. And they happen as a result of media
work, yeah.
or media work, right? And so also there are different layers of journalism. Now there are some conventional news reporting where journalists just report what you tell them.
Yeah.
Okay? And of course they do it with a little bit of backgrounding and all of that. That kind of journalism, they've been reporting all sort of things government have been doing.
That's basic.
In fact, a lot of things that a lot of government reports that makes into the news pages. Even if I own a newspaper,
I mean, we have this conversation.
I will not publish them.
But I'm not talking to press conference or conferences or even workshops for government. We cover it.
I wouldn't.
They don't
exactly.
pay us. They don't
So
pay
they are lucky. They are lucky. They have people who are very mild.
Yeah.
And their consideration for them and the respect for them is very large.
It's
very huge.
Yeah.
And so they are considering reporting everything they throw at them.
Yeah.
Without a filter at all.
We don't.
You know? And so that layer is there. Now, there is fact-checking. There are different genres in journalism. There is fact-checking. You don't expect a fact-checker to report news and report news the same way conventional news reporters do. They are different.
They're different.
Now, a fact-checker does fact-checking. And so he looks at something and considers it probably is disinformation or it's misinformation or it's or there is lack of clarity and he needs an explainer. Or, you know? So that too has layers. Now, if you come to investigative journalism, that also has its own requirements.
Yeah.
So these requirements, you don't look at it and say, these guys are biased. And especially now you have your GRTS telling all these stories. You have all the local newspapers in the country reporting news every day. All the good news you are doing. Everything you are telling them that. So investigative journalists doing investigative journalism, you are saying they don't want good news. And I said, well, I'm sorry, guys. I think it's grow up. My job is writing about bad news.
Yeah.
Yeah? So that's it. But they don't.
But even not just bad news, like a show like this.
Like this.
The Grand Bantaba.
Yeah.
The talk show, say, Modou would have over there, or Coffee Time with Peter Gomez, you know, program, or, I mean, Africa, you know, Reu program, and I guess many others. You see, a vibrant media, you know, is important for a country.
Yeah.
And in particular for a government, you know, in ways that you cannot just measure.
Yeah.
Yes. And this is not just the Gambia, but when we sit here today and look at the power, whether it's economic or political or social, technological, I mean, cultural of let's say, United States of America or Great Britain or Japan, it's not merely the imagination, the invention, the hard work of their politicians or technocrats. It is also because those efforts of all of those stakeholders gained momentum and became of value thanks to a very vibrant media because of the environment it created for exchange, you know, for scrutiny, for, you know, evidence, for people testing each other, testing ideas, confronting ideas, and so on, so that at the end of the day, what comes out is not just mere knowledge, but a whole civilization emerges. Yeah. All right. And, you know, that's why the media is like that in those countries. So, unless if a particular government or official is corrupt, of course, I mean, is autocratic, you don't want critical media. You don't want a vibrant media. And you want all ideas to be, you know, in a certain straight line. But that also is what is dangerous for a society. Because that is also what we have seen, how societies have crumbled, how regimes have crumbled. All right. I mean, you will find it hard to crumble the United States government as we would crumble, or as the Soviet Union, I mean, government crumbled, which was said to be more powerful or autocratic as such. But at the end of the day, there was only one way of thinking in the Soviet Union at the time. Yeah. You know, one narrative, one outlet. So in the end, you don't even understand the temperature in your society because, you know, there's only one version. Yeah. You know, so when you get to understand all of this, therefore, whether it's about education or healthcare, you know, or agriculture or sports, everything, you know, you realize that to multiply all of these things to another level, the common denominator or that lubricant is the media.
Yeah.
Yes, it's the media. And so if you really mean well for your country, if you understand your job, particularly if you are in charge of the media, and you understand the value of the media, what you should be busy about is, how do I further empower the media? How do I make the space more conducive? How do I make the place more viable economically for the media? I mean, government needs more media, you know, in all forms. We need, you know, everything we can imagine in regards to media, we need more. So how do I support that? Than to want to divide the media, want to limit the media, and now you want to extend that to social media. And, you know, social media, I didn't even say a lot on it. But, you know, the requirements for social media registration.
That's what, yes.
They are saying you should, as part of your requirements, you need to submit your advertisers.
Yeah.
Yes. Your source of income.
Or you have to put your your advertiser, your source of income.
Your source of income.
Okay.
All right. All of these have to be there. I mean, your sort of partners.
Who's okay.
Yeah. So that eventually, you look at Kerr Fatou as an online media. You need to register. So who are sponsoring?
Who's sponsoring me?
The advertisers. Who are the advertisers? I mean,
what is my source of income?
And who
are my partners? And they'll go to the advertisers and say, it's either you stop with them.
So how
don't
does
advertise
that,
with her.
So how does that support your professionalism?
Nothing.
No way. And this is, when I spoke to one of the guys in Pora, and I said, where did this come from? I have never seen anywhere in any democracy where I said,
dictatorship.
no, wait, let me come where you ask YouTube and Facebook as to have a license. I said, I have never seen that because nobody controls. These are web spaces. Nobody controls them. So they are not licensed in anywhere in the world. You know what this poor guy told me? He said, oh no, we did our benchmark in Uganda and in Tanzania. I'm like, are you kidding me?
In dictatorships.
Uganda, Tanzania? This is what the guy told me.
But this doesn't exist in Uganda and Tanzania.
That's what he said.
Yes, because, you know, Tanzania, or I mean Uganda in particular, is a celebrated dictatorship under Museveni.
Yes.
But Uganda has, around Africa, one of the most vibrant media, civil society, political party, opposition, and social, I mean, you know, and media in Uganda. But they have so many draconian laws. But this,
to register,
they don't have this.
Facebook and YouTube as a media house online.
I don't know what, and even if they do, I mean, that is a
why would you even go and copy something bad
from Uganda? And I was like, but even the names that you, the names that you even quoted, these are dictatorships that are celebrated dictatorships.
We've just come out of a dictatorship. We cannot emulate another dictatorship. And to return the country to dictatorship.
You know, one thing Ismaila always pretends to be doing. I think he's doing political work. I've long made up my mind he's doing political work. And if I am going to interact with him, I interact with him in that light. Of course, he's a politician. But if you are doing political work, be sincere enough to tell people I'm doing political work. So that we see in the light, right? That's just the same way I talk about media services that went into contract with government to publicize government agenda. There's nothing wrong with it so long as you tell us this is paid content. Tell us this is paid content and it's paid by this. Now, but my problem with Ismaila and the government is they're not interested in creating a more vibrant media. They are creating in controlling media. That's it. Controlling media for narrative management. That's it. For the white, what time did you see Gambian government actively working to ensure we have more investigative journalists?
No. They're not interested.
Even training. The government should be providing training, capacity building for journalists.
To say, we need you to train so that we have more investigative journalists.
No, they don't want more investigative journalists.
But that's the point.
They don't want critical voice.
So they want people who report news, they want to hear for political work. So like I said, they need to divorce this space. The media is outside of the political environment. Okay? And so they are within the political environment. So they need to, and not just within the political environment, they're in the government. So all that they need to do is to create space that is conducive for the media to be able to do its work, which is to hold the government to account. And not just people in government, also political
parties and even private businesses. Another thing that they are also doing is the divide and rule within us in the industry. There was a time, you know, they went to newspapers and other media houses telling them, oh, you guys are paying taxes. These online people are not paying taxes.
Yes.
You know, so that when we boycott or when we do any action, those people will not support. And that has been proven to be lies. It's not true. It's not factual.
It's misinformation.
It's misinformation.
When was it? Not a few years ago, your platform is
one of the number one compliant media house that pay taxes.
Company.
And
even for other smaller online platforms.
Yeah.
Even if they don't pay tax,
Because
they employ people from whom tax is being paid.
Being paid for, yeah.
So online media is paying
Everybody
tax.
is paying taxes.
You are already paying tax where your YouTube is domiciled.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah. You know.
Yeah.
You're paying tax in the UK and in America
In the US
and
because
in other places.
because and that is one thing we should be talking about, Joof. And I said this when Madi touched on it. That is monetization. Yes. Ismaila came here. I remember all the ministers of information. I think they're like Kimom, the Fabuga Halis. Yeah. But I'm not speaking just because of myself. You know, you look at how many people are on TikTok. Gambian people on TikTok. If TikTok was monetized today, I know this particular Gambian YouTuber here. He doesn't reside here. This guy makes between $3,000 to $5,000 every month. He's not employed by Gambia government. He's not employed by nobody. Imagine if you have hundreds of that. How does that impact the economy of this country?
It's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money. Yes. You don't need government work if your social media is monetized. Yes. And government can take advantage of this. Senegal is monetized. Yes. Guinea-Conakry, Guinea-Bissau. I think I can certainly say Gambia might be the only country in this world that is not monetized. We struggle as platforms. If my YouTube channel is monetized in America because I have a US address. Somebody is using Senegalese address to monetize. Our Facebook, because of IP issues, sometimes you put US address, yes. They kick you out because you're broadcasting here. Yes. And then you will go and violate again. Yes. You go back and forth with them. At some point you get tired, you cannot monetize. Yes. But the economic impact that will do to this country, yes. All these young people on TikTok, all these people on YouTube and Facebook, all these artists, you are not giving them royalties. You're not giving them anything. Create the environment, create the policy. And this we cannot do. GPU cannot do. It's government. It's the government that instead of thinking about policing us, yes. Make us viable first. Yes. You don't want to give us government money, but make sure our platforms are monetized.
Yeah. And that is even in the interest of the government,
yeah.
And for national development. The government cannot provide jobs for everyone in the Gambia.
Yeah.
You see a lot of our youths are dying on the back way, irregular migration.
Yeah.
If these social media platforms are monetized, these online media platforms that they are planning to control,
yeah,
they have already they are struggling at the moment, but they have been able to. These are young people that we know. Some of them studied from the university, some studied from Majak, the Media Academy, and they have created employment for themselves. These are people who would have gone to the back way and die in the sea, you know, but they didn't do that. And they have employed a few young people. The government should help these people,
yep.
Help monetize social media platforms so that they can live and earn in the Gambia.
Even buy some of them equipment.
Yes.
So you look at this, I think it's Ghanaian, but there are others also,
yeah.
Content creators.
Yes.
Wodemaya.
Yes.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yes.
I mean, the man is traveling around Africa.
Did you see? He said he makes over $100,000 every month.
Yes.
On YouTube and Facebook.
And I look at the Gambia. I mean, I'm not on TikTok.
Yeah.
All right, but
Mustapha is on TikTok every night.
I'm on TikTok.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, so what's happening? They'll send something on TikTok.
Yeah.
And I'll click it, you know, because the app is there.
Yeah.
And I'll see some, you know, that is a 1 minute drama, which
yes.
you know. It's just interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I see some people cook it.
Yeah.
Or some people, you know,
selling
some kind of story.
Selling stuff.
I understand.
Yeah.
So if you monetize all of that, as you said, we can reduce the back way.
Yes.
Yep.
You know, because at the end of the day, all of us are making YouTube very rich.
Yes.
By simply opening a YouTube account and just being there.
Yeah.
We are contributing to the development of YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, and so on.
Yeah.
And we sit here, we don't benefit.
We don't.
And we have our own ministry.
Ismaila fanga ka mem fanga. Ismaila fanga kan do muta follow.
Ngola.
Because I can't mem for thing ha tax issue fanga. What for tax Ministry of Information like a tax school Ministry of Information.
They have nothing.
Tax the Ministry of Finance.
Yeah.
and it's carried out by GRE.
Yeah.
So I need tax school and told you want to rakachaka.
Attend.
At the time the tax,
Ha.
you need registration na panamunate rakachaka.
Honey.
That's Ministry of Justice,
Yeah.
Register of Companies. And if platforms are already registered.
Yes.
You are registered
As
by
a
Ministry
business.
of Justice.
Yes.
As a business.
Yep.
Even us many we are not doing business. We
Yes, you register as a as
We
an
register the
entity. Yeah.
Republic.
As
We
an
register
entity.
As,
Yes.
as an entity.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because you
And
cannot
are
operate
paid
with that.
to register.
Yeah.
Yung platform on dini wala ani man kajangol.
Ibe register
They
that.
are all registered.
Yung TikTok mo, ibe register that.
Yeah.
They are all registered.
Because
It's a business.
you cannot even have an account if you're not registered. You renew and all of these things.
Even your internet
Yeah.
registered. Because MOJ already registered them.
People.
So in international law, particularly in freedom of expression,
Yeah.
requires registration. Broadcasters or media as a business, you
Yeah.
register.
Yeah.
Number two, in terms of say radio or television, as a frequency.
Yes.
You know, so they said Kerr Fatou 100.
Yeah.
For example, you
Yeah.
register.
Yeah.
So those are the things that Pura can regulate to deal with.
Yes.
All right. But now when we sit here to have a conversation,
Yeah.
that cannot be a business of Pura
No.
or the government. If I say a statement here that is say hate speech, all right, that is incitement to violence, there are laws dealing with that.
Yes.
The
Or-
Criminal Offences Act.
Yes.
Or that is defamatory.
Yes.
You know, there is certain law there. A company or an individual may want to take me to court or Kerr Fatou to. So that is already addressed.
That is existing.
So what more do you want to have accreditation or registration, licensing people because they open a Facebook page? Facebook page doesn't have frequencies.
No.
I open my Facebook page with my name and picture down
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
All right, and end of story.
Yes.
You know,
And
accreditation, when you talk about that, yes, you have certain institutions like your National Assembly.
Yeah.
They can say we will accredit National Assembly reporters.
Yes.
And sometimes reporters who go to National Assembly can even form an association. National Assembly Reporters Association.
Even the State House, we have accreditation
Yeah.
for
So-
media people.
Yeah, but
yeah.
they don't license the journalists.
No.
They don't register them.
Yeah.
It is for the purpose of covering this.
Yes.
We have a cohort that they belong to.
Yes.
Yeah.
Full stop.
Yes.
But I mean,
I mean,
so why
for example, the Facebook,
The idea of accreditation mainly was not to restrict anyone
Yeah.
as far as journalism is concerned.
Yeah.
It is to provide access.
access.
Like State House is doing.
Yes.
A certain number of journalists are covering State House, the
Yeah.
presidency. They are accredited. If there is an international forum, is OIC Summit, is Sahel Governance Forum, State House issues accreditation.
Yeah.
You know, if there is the National Assembly, state of opening and whatsoever, the National Assembly is responsible
They
for
give
that.
us, yeah.
So all of this accreditation mechanism is there. Certain events, you only need a limited number. Not to restrict others, but because of space,
Space, yeah.
you need to give
Logistics,
accreditation for logistics, for
Yeah.
people to be there.
Yeah.
You know,
And for
but that is
security
And for
also.
coordination,
security,
yes.
But that is all accreditation for journalists
Journalists
was supposed to
to
do.
be, yeah.
You go to the stadium for football matches.
Yeah.
They have to get accreditation.
That's true.
Because there is a limited number of seats, a press gallery where journalists could sit.
Yeah.
That is the idea of accreditation, not this kind that Dr. Sise is
But
quoting.
again,
And then he has also said, before I conclude,
Yeah.
that it is meant to enable journalists have access to information. But we have an access to information law dealing with access to information
Already.
which his ministry should implement.
Yeah.
But he is not even implementing.
Yeah.
The first thing in implementing the access to information law is that every ministry and every government institution should designate an information officer.
Yeah.
If I need information from any ministry today, I should write officially to the information officer. Dr. Sise's ministry does not even have an information officer. As far as the access to information law is concerned, they are supposed to have published an information manual, all the ministries, the type of information they have, you know, so that people know what to request from them.
Yeah.
They have not done anything. They should all have an implementation plan
You
on
should
how to
clarify what an
implement.
information officer is because he probably doesn't know.
Yes.
Maybe he's
Yes.
the information officer himself.
No, you may think he's a press officer.
No, he's the
All the ministries think press officers
Yes.
are the information
No,
officers.
doctor is the information
Yes,
officer.
because also they have refused, the government has refused to accept the access to information law. It's not that they don't know what the law says by designating an information officer. In 2022, 2023, 2024, the Gambia Press Union worked with the UNDEF and also the National Democratic Institute, NDI. We have trained directors, permanent secretaries, these communication officers, all cadres of government officials on their roles and responsibilities of the access to information law. Then at that time, a draft implementation plan was put in place. We also trained them on how to operationalize that implementation plans. So they know they just refuse to implement. Because if they are to designate an information officer, each ministry, probably it's the permanent secretary that's going to do this job. Because it has to be someone who has the authority to give or to refuse to give information. So they should designate. They cannot appoint, They should designate someone in authority within the ministry to be the information officer, to give this information. They cannot use those junior officers who were called information officers, now communication officers. But today when you write to them, like Mustapha, he write to the central bank or other place, they said they don't have an information officer. But the law says you should put it. Yeah. The law says
I write to
have
someone,
that.
you also have an experience. So you write to, so for
for
example, you write to IEC and say designated information officer.
Yes.
Write to the chairman.
Yes.
The chairman.
Yes.
I said, but I'm saying information officer. I'm writing under a law.
Yes.
And the law asks me to address it, and they say, no, write to the chairman. Here, you write to the chairman, there will be no response.
You see?
And you write to, we wrote to Ministry of Energy, they said, designated, no, write to the permanent secretary.
Yes.
It's funny.
I had to collect a lot of letters and had to write back.
But yeah.
So we wrote the TPP, they call us and say, why are you
Well, so what I wanted to know, for example, Madi said this, if you are applying for a license for a radio, they give you frequency.
Yes.
If you are doing for a TV, they give you a frequency or whatever, right? For example, if online is supposed to register with Pura, I know Facebook controls Facebook, YouTube is controlled by YouTube, and TikTok. What are they giving us in return for that license registration? Did they specify that? Are they giving us a frequency or whatever? Because you cannot license something that you don't control. They are not in control of any of these social media platforms.
Yes.
It's a technical thing.
Yes.
How are they going to control that?
No. Instead, you give them.
Okay.
So I think the registration of journalists, they have a lot of forms there.
Yeah.
Application forms.
Yeah.
So instead, you would have to, like, say, on an online platform.
Yeah.
Would have to give, like, proprietor, source of funding, partners, information like that.
Okay.
Is what you provide. So probably they'll just give you a certificate, okay, as a license, that now you can operate. Yeah. So which is just scandalous. I mean, because as we said, as a platform, you are registered already with the companies.
Yes.
You pay your tax. You employ people. You pay bills. Of all sorts, and so on. So that at the end of the day, it makes no difference. The rest of it now is the content you produce.
Okay.
Yes, and your content also is not free, because there are a lot of regulations, standards, from this media house here at this platform at the level of GPU.
Yeah.
But journalism at itself has its own standards, and then you have laws of the Gambia. So Kerr Fatou is not going to put up
be reckless and just put up anything.
Yeah, any program, any content that would violate children or women or incite violence or stuff like that, slander and libel people. So at the end of the day, you wonder, why do you want to register Kerr Fatou? Then the only explanation it would be is that it is a ploy so that they can control you.
Critical
because
voices.
now, when you also, that content, they have standards for it in their guidelines, in their regulation. So the content, for example, talks about harmful content.
That is considered harmful.
So that's not defined.
Who determines that?
Right. So Pura would determine that. So they have, those things, harmful content or something causing, unpleasant or creating scare or fear or, tormenting, causing trauma to somebody. So those kind of things are there, protecting children and women. So those standards, what they entail, they know. So if you have a program, you have a conversation like this, and Pura feels, well, this conversation is such that this is destabilizing national security.
National security, yeah.
And so you have a problem.
Yeah.
All right. And then when that happens, Pura also now can deregister you or refuse to renew your registration, and there is no provision there that says there is a challenge, that is subject to court, judicial review. So as if the Pura is a court unto itself. And in 2002, when Jammeh created the Media Commission Act, that Media Commission was almost at the same status as a high court.
Yeah.
When they make their decisions, it's final.
It's final.
A judge was appointed to...
Yeah, to head the thing in front. Yes. So when they make that decision, it's final.
Final.
When if you got to appeal, it's to appeal to them, and when they make that decision, it's final. So in these regulations also, it is the same thing.
It's the same thing.
And
one thing I always hear people say, they say, and Ismaila himself says that we have to set standards.
Yeah.
But the problem is, what are those standards? And what is your role in setting those standards? So already we have a standard. I can tell you, I'm familiar with journalist groups, and all of us are here.
Yeah.
Within this region and in Africa and in the globe. And so we're not doing badly as such. There is a need to improve content. There's a need for more training. There's a need for more resources to do more investigations. If you ask me, more investigations.
Just like any other profession.
And just not to continue. You take BBC. Decades, in a country that has centuries of media experience. They are taking them to court.
Yes.
For wrong reporting. The last threat, I think, came from Mr. Trump.
Trump.
So that will always happen as a profession. But as he said, in the Gambia journalists, they're not doing badly. And when you look at the population, it's a very young population at the same time. But the effort and the dedication...
attrition rate is high. People are leaving every day. We are still holding the fort. Probably in investigative journalism, we have a much better, bigger pool than Senegal and most of the countries in the sub-region. And, so we are not
doing bad.
No, we are not doing bad.
What is the way forward
the
now?
Of standards that he is talking about will not be set by the government. Okay? The standards government can help in where they can by providing resources if they can. And of course, based on certain determined sets of criteria. Okay? They can work with the union. They can empower the Media Council. They can empower School of Journalism, Majak, and School of Journalism at the Gambia, at the University of the Gambia. And probably Doctor as part of the things he should be doing is also to visit the University of the Gambia and see what they are doing. The School of Journalism is doing there. What sort of training they are doing. What sort of I don't want to speak ill of the university, but the quality of training at the university is very poor. His information means that he should go there and help them fix that. Instead of busying over the people who are practicing. If you go there, even the contents, I have seen a lot of the notes that are coming out of there, and on a number of subject matters. And he should go there and see it for himself, and even practical trainings for university students or students coming out of, because we interact with them as practitioners. They come from the university. Some of them have graduated. Some of them are going there and they are colleagues. So we know the quality that's coming out of there. So he should busy himself with empowering those. Okay, because that's where the future lies. School of Journalism, Majak, Media Academy for Journalism and Communication, the Gambia Press Union own. And that is to tell you, this is to even show you the Gambia Press Union as being probably the most forward-looking institution in the history of this country. Outside of government. Probably even more efficient than government itself.
Inside of government.
Inside of government. Because Gambia Press Union has its own School of Journalism. Okay? Like, teachers don't have a teachers college.
No.
Okay? We have our own School of Journalism. And it is more practical based training journalism school than any other journalism school in this country, including the university. Okay? That. Secondly, the Gambia Press Union went as far as creating the Media Council.
Yeah.
Even the access to information law, the Gambia president created it.
Yeah.
And hand it over to the government to help. So the Gambia president doesn't come sorting anything.
No.
Yeah.
So if we are talking about standards, you cannot be more interested in standards than myself, or than him, or than the Gambia president, than anybody. I mean, we volunteer our time to train young journalists to come on board. I mean, ourselves are in the process of also building more capacity. Journalism is an ever-evolving, especially now we are talking about open source intelligence. I mean, you know, so all of us are now, you know, I mean, retraining and training and taking refresher courses every day and engaging young people. I mean, even at the university, we all get calls to go there and engage someone because these students, they interact with us on a daily basis. Okay? So that is something that's ongoing. Okay? So doctor should limit himself with his mandate and leave out what is our mandate. If he encroaches on our mandate, we're going to have a problem. And we do not need to have this. What is happening right now at his press conference is unnecessary. I wanted to be there, but I couldn't go there because of what he was doing and because we have made a decision to boycott it. And so he went there to say, saving people.
His divide and rule tactics will not work because we all know most of those media companies, some of them, maybe because of contractual issues, they have to be there. But we have seen our colleagues in these media houses speaking out against this policy.
But I mean, he should look at today the number of mics in front of a small boy.
Kemo Bojang has 25 over plus mics, and he having just
seven mics.
6 mics there in front of him, that he see the difference. And
the Minister of Information, this is our line ministry, and you are fighting with very people who you are supposed to.
And Joof, this is important because this is not. I mean, the GPU and the media, obviously everybody agreed to not participate in the validation, but it's the journalists themselves who said, no, we are boycotting this minister. From the GPU page, it came from the journalists. The practitioners said, no, we are not boycotting government. Let's be clear. We are boycotting this minister who is trying to, you know, bring us all these draconian laws that we don't want. And he's been arrogant about it. I'm sorry. Because going on that press, first in that hot mic, saying he doesn't care that we were boycotting, and that is not his public position, but behind the scenes he's saying a different thing. But secondly, also going on that platform where our colleagues are, and we know most of them don't want to be there. They are there because they have to do their job. They are representing media houses that are on contractual agreement with the government, so they have to be there. Now, making them look like those media houses are more relevant than us. But we all know each other. I wanted to be shady. I went to GRTS and I looked at their news, 8 o'clock news. 8 hours later, they had only 9 likes. I wanted to post and say, Doctor, are you talking about GRTS? Because they are the only one who gets 2 or 3 likes or 3 people viewing them. We don't get that. We all know he's not talking about us, but what he was trying to do was making those people more important and making us less important, which we all know is not true. It's not happening. But the divide and rule tactics that he's doing and trying to divide us will not work because our colleagues in those media houses are in line with this, with everybody. They believe this is wrong for the profession and they're not supporting it.
Definitely, and I agree. I think what the Minister of Information should do is to pause, and look at things critically, and try to have a discussion or a dialogue with us. If your ministry is overseeing this sector, the media sector, and you said you are bringing things for the media, and those people you said you are bringing those things, regulations told you it's not good for us, then you should sit back and look at it, because your main priority should be how to help this industry thrive. Not to belittle any one of them, or to talk bad or low on any one of them. The ministry should be that, mother figure, where that, encompasses everyone, that takes along everyone, and, try to look at how they would work with the Gambia Press Union. The Gambia Press Union is ever ready. We have been involved in media development for the longest time since our history, since 79.
Yeah.
You know, when it was officially established.
79?
Yes, more than
Wow.
40 years ago.
Wow.
The
More than
Gambia Press
40
Union,
years ago?
yes, the
Oh
Gambia
my
Press
God.
Union has been here,
Yeah.
working for the development of the media industry. And over time, we have made so that a lot of the issues that has to do with professionalism are being addressed. First, you know, with an industry-wide code of conduct. You know,
Yes.
that addresses a lot of the concerns that the government has.
Yes.
You know,
Including
and-
things he's listing in that stuff.
And
Yeah.
most journalists are abiding by this.
Yes,
Yeah.
Even if there was no regulation,
Yes.
the code of conduct should have been sufficed
Yeah.
to regulate the private media.
Yeah.
You know, we have done all of that.
Even the-
we have not
yeah.
only established a school of journalism, the most advanced one, as Mustapha has stated here, you know, where people are getting multi-skills.
Yeah.
That's why you see some of these young ones are able to establish now on their own, create their own employment
Yep.
because of what the Gambia President
What they are
has been
learning at
doing with
Maja.
its
Yeah.
with the Media Academy for Journalism and Communication.
Yeah.
You know, then we establish a self-regulatory mechanism.
Yeah.
So what the minister has to do, you know, and his ministry, you know, and also Pura, is to support the media industry, you know, for us to make it a really very vibrant media industry, you know, and that one, the media is already responsible enough,
Yeah.
you know, but we can always add, because issues of ethics and these are evolving issues.
Yeah.
If you see our code of conduct previously, it had some sections on women reporting children, issues related to violence.
Yeah.
Now, because artificial intelligence has come, we have improved the code of conduct and include artificial intelligence. Then we also include sections on hate speech, trying to address hate speech on our own.
Yeah.
Even though the government has a law, as per the Criminal Offences Act 2025 addressing hate speech,
Yeah.
we are trying to address that in a code of conduct for journalists.
Yeah.
Then issues of misinformation and disinformation comes. We have included that in the latest version of the code of conduct for journalists. So the minister should definitely work with us so that we can advance the development of the media in the Gambia.
And even the
But
media.
atekela tende. Under this condition,
Atekela tende,
because
ponga-
how long? Nini molbe sila.
Ah.
The first thing is there should be mutual respect.
There should be respect. He doesn't respect God at this point.
So the way the
way
kind
he's
of
going.
the proposal in itself is disrespectful.
Okay.
And so coming like he was looking at us like okay, we need standards, and he was thinking of it like bar association, medical council.
Yeah.
These industries are different.
They're different.
Yeah. This is the people's industry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you this is not like the bar or some exclusive club.
Like,
Yeah.
like we say,
Yeah.
the media's obligation is to the truth,
Yeah.
and the media's loyalty is to the people.
Yep.
Yes.
That's
Yeah,
it.
but even Mustapha,
Yeah.
the Bar Association, the government doesn't go and determine who is a lawyer or not.
Yeah.
You know, the medical and dental association, the same thing.
The same thing.
You know, and even the teachers which are trained at the teachers college
Yeah.
run by the government, you know, the GTU is not controlled by the.
They are not. Yeah.
And you know, Mustapha said something about the track record of the Gambia Press Union.
Press Union.
This whole scenario, it saddens me. No, Fatou, I have been involved with GPU since 1992.
Yes.
Oh.
Right? I have been running behind Dida Hydra,
Yes.
Cherno Jalo, D.A. Jao, Sam Sar,
Yes.
you know, Swaibu Konate. They are going to meetings. And as a small boy also, you know, GPU had a lot of offices. Today they are in where is GPU, sir? Fajara.
Fajara.
You know, but you from Banjul, you know, across to Serakunda.
Serakunda.
GPU one time the office at Serakunda Market. Now understand. Bakau, or Cape Road over there, you know, inside another part of Fajara. And, you know, I mean, and Father, I tell you, over those years, I have seen the GPU as a progressive organization, you know, trying to respond, you know, to situations.
Yeah.
And as, you know, Mustapha said, in defending this republic, yes, in defending this republic, no institution, organization has challenged the government in court more than GPU.
Yeah.
They have, you know, even 2002, when Jame imposed it 2002, it was GPU.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, Yoro Jalo, you know, D.A. Jao, you know, probably Samsar, and so on. Data Hydra, you know, who put up the suit, you know, at the High Court at the time. All right. So GPU has been challenging the court, the false news thing. People took it to the court, all the way to ECOWAS. No institution in their own profession alone, not to mention for the benefit of the Gambia, has challenged the status quo other than UP. So the democracy you talk about in this country, if anyone has created it, it's GPU.
Yes.
Yeah, I understand. So, and journalists.
Yeah.
So when you understand this history, it saddens you for a young man like, Ismail Assise, and for somebody like Joguba, come here and want to tell us how the media should run. And GPU is not just talking about standards in terms of this trade. GPU right now, they have a sexual harassment policy.
Yes.
You go to the Gambia Bar Association, you go to Teachers Union,
Nobody has it.
They don't have it. You go to most institutions, they don't have it.
That's how
It's the most progressive.
It's the most progressive
national
institution in this country. Yes.
It's GPU.
Yes.
Even in our civil society, they don't have sexual harassment policy.
No.
So, and these people are doing amazing work.
Yeah.
Journalists are doing amazing work in this country.
Under difficult circumstances.
And so why would we want to now and make that situation even more difficult? With such a
very
authoritarian
difficult
guidelines, and you are telling us we want to set standards. What does Ismail know about journalism? What does he know about democracy?
I don't know.
What does he know about the struggles of this country? You come and tell us that you want to set up some standards, that you want to bring regulation that people don't want to regulate. When you don't know anything, people are fighting to set standards, to set regulation, to defend this republic. You just come now because you think you can put on a nice suit. You will, with some nice English, you want to tell us what is that? And with nobody than a dictator enabler sitting down there at Pura, thanks to nobody other than Mr. Barrow, who has betrayed our cause. You understand? The way forward, people have to resist.
You have to resist.
The war, this is not a Gambia thing. No. That is what is in the war right now. Because we have rogues running public institutions all over the world. You understand? And citizens have to resist.
Yes.
Yeah, that is the bottom line.
And Madi, this also, in fact, has a transitional justice dimension.
Yes.
That's the one subject we don't talk about.
Didn't talk about it.
So, because, for example,
Yes.
one of the reasons why Deda Hydra was killed was because of the tense relationship between him and the government.
And the government, yes.
And just to say that also is linked to the 2002 leader conference. Because Deda was killed 2004. 2004 was the year they revoked,
directly linked to the 2002 major celebrations. In fact, most people believe that because of the tension he had developed during that time, made him not just, of course, Mr. President became later on a thorn on the side of Jammeh.
Yeah.
But the build-up, it's a build-up.
Yeah.
So it started during that period. So the relationship became more toxic as it moves on. So part of the TJ process is you cannot talk about taking Jongulas to court for murder of Deda Hydra.
Yes.
And comes to celebrate the very thing Jammeh killed him for.
Yeah.
And you cannot now come and tell us Deda, in fact, just like Jammeh said, Deda was a troublemaker. Essentially, that's what they're saying. That the things that Deda was saying is wrong. The media needs to be regulated this way. And Jammeh was right. I mean, sometimes we
accept we are Deda will disappoint Lale.
Yeah, but the point is, in fact, you sit down. Ismaila is an intellectual. He was a university professor. Like, you would have thought that Ismaila is a producer of critical thinking. Like, because that's what university is for. It's to training the minds of young people to shape the very foundation of our republic, to resist. That's what academy is. Academia, it's about resistance. It's about resistance. It's about diagnosing our environment. It's about challenging the status quo. It's about teaching young people about governance. About
finding solutions.
Exactly, that's what it is. So you come from that world of resistance. You come into this world to, I would rather say, submission. And now you want to create an instrument that is now going to subdue resistance, that's going to kill critical journalism, that's going to kill investigative journalism, that is going to make politicians the lords and make the population subservient. That is not the way of an academic. That's not the way of anybody who interests to build a better republic. And so that is why Ismaila needs to sit down and do some self-reflection. And even I would invite Dauda Jallo also into this conversation, because his ministry is in charge of the implementation of the recommendations of TRRC.
Yes.
And you see, we need to understand it.
Yes.
What the TRRC did was, last time we were having a conversation on this, what the TRRC did was a holistic diagnostic of the Gambian society,
Yes.
based on the architecture of the oppression that Jammeh had implemented.
Yes.
And so TRRC diagnosed the society and diagnosed the causes, the reasons why these things had happened. So one of the reasons for implementation of recommendations, all of them, of the TRRC, is to create a different environment.
Yes.
And now, item Murundi no like Tanyato saying Komo, we are going back, you are pushing us back, you are going front. That is not going to create a different society.
Yeah.
So here they are sort of taking us back.
Yeah.
2 steps backwards.
Yes.
After we have taken 5 steps forward.
Yes.
And another point to note is that, I mean, with Barrow, we have started to see what a democracy would look like if we make it more vibrant.
Yeah.
Okay, so Barrow doesn't need power. That is why I don't even like reporting on people with power. Barrow doesn't need me to defend him.
Yeah.
He has the military, he has the police, he has military intelligence, police intelligence, he has economic, he has everything, he has political power, he has his political party has PR people, he has state institutions, he has journalists, he can hold, Barrow can hold a press conference.
And everyone goes.
He snaps his finger and there's a press conference. Cameras are in front of me. But Barrow doesn't need me.
Yeah.
Okay? So you do not need to destroy critical journalism to defend Barrow. Barrow doesn't, he's so much, if there is war in this country, he's going to be the last person to be killed. That's what being a president means.
Yeah.
Everybody revolves around the president. He's the queen of the beehive.
Yeah.
So Barrow does not need me. Barrow does not need you to kill a critical journalism, which you will regret tomorrow.
Yeah.
Because tomorrow you will not be in government.
Yeah.
Jammeh today is not in government.
Yeah.
Jammeh needs journalists. If journalists didn't do work, Jammeh wouldn't even have answers regarding his own assets.
Yeah.
So even Jammeh would have thought, I don't need journalists.
But he wanted to know who bought what.
Exactly, he had to go to media.
Yeah.
To know.
And social media.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Jammeh was blocking, online sites.
But guess what?
Today he's sending WhatsApp.
See?
Today he's holding meetings on WhatsApp.
Yeah.
Your brother Alassana was prosecuted for Viber.
Yeah.
Yes.
Today Jammeh was holding
Broadcasting without
broadcasting over Skype.
Yeah.
Yes.
But today Jammeh is
Yes.
meetings
So that
through
is
WhatsApp.
one thing Ismaila needs to think of.
Understand.
That is to create a democracy.
Yeah.
We need a resistance.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so because government exists on its own, it's the people's institution. Now we need resistance, and without investigative journalism, a strong one, fact-checking, a strong one, civil society, a very strong one, it doesn't matter. We are not going to have Abubakar Siddiq in this country to be president. We are not going to have Umar Farouk in this country to be president.
No.
We're going to have Mayor Mortals to be president.
Yeah.
There will be no progress without investigative journalism and a strong one. There will be no progress without fact-checking and a strong one. There will be no progress without... I mean, we have seen the kind of corruption in this. I mean, not long ago, we have reported on the issue of Barrow's nephew and his involvement and how the state infrastructure helped form his business, shape his business. That's the kind of violation that happens without much accountability.
Yeah.
And you need journalism to confront that.
Yeah.
You need journalism to resist that. Okay?
But that is the point that the citizens need to pick.
Yeah.
Because that is not in Ismaila's interest.
Yes.
And the people in authority to have that exposure so that, they can continue to that opacity in the way they run our affairs and resources. But the rest of Gambians need to realize who is running their lives, who is taking decisions, to whom are they giving their resources and managing those resources, what services are they being given, are these services adequate, are they value for money, and so on and so forth. And that is where the media is so important, and especially a vibrant, critical, investigative media with, fact checkers as well, because, misinformation, disinformation, nobody is fact checked in this country more than Ismail Assisi.
No, nobody.
Right. And so that clearly tells you, whilst he's talking about we need this to cleanse, the environment, of disinformation, misinformation. But the greatest, biggest, misinformer is Ismail Assisi himself and the government.
Yeah.
So, but that is for the citizens to recognize that these media regulations policies they are creating, it may appear as they want to control the media and this is a media thing. It's for journalists, but actually this is for us.
Yes.
Because talking about Jammeh assets, 6 years or 7 years since the end of the Jammeh Commission, government never updated us how those assets were sold or disposed of until the Republic, came up with that publication.
Yeah.
And we saw it. Even myself at one point, I'm like, this is so serious. Hey, Mustapha, I mean, is this true?
Yep.
Because the audacity of it, I mean, the seriousness of it, you begin to even doubt yourself.
The reports, itself,
that is it.
Yeah.
And then, as you said, civil society pick it up, Gala. Since
they gave the bath to Gala.
Yeah. And not just...
And Gala has been the savior since then.
Since then. And
we can always go back to them and say, Gala, come and save us from this.
Thanks to that Gala.
Yeah.
A parliamentary inquiry was established. A president was forced to respond.
Yep.
And all the rest, even the freedom of
Bojang, thanks to Gala.
And that tells you at the end of the day, the saviors of this country are the media, and the citizens, especially if they are organized into serious resistance groups. So to curtail that is why these media regulations are coming. Because what is going to do is, imagine you silence Mustapha. We're not going to hear any more of those stories. Imagine you silence Kerr Fatou here and all these networks down there.
Yes.
How can there be a gap?
How
can there be any robust advocacy in the civil society? But mind you, this is going to extend further to others that we don't even think about. Let's say Cyprus.
Yeah.
Let's say Cyprus, the information pollsters will be given out. Can all come under the purview of this online content production and information that is there. So these regulations would realize that this is a threat to every civil society organization, because I mean, whether Cyprus, whether Gambia participate or CRPD, they are producing information. You produce information and they are telling you this is social media. In fact, you have a following, you now have to register. You register your Facebook page, your YouTube page, you publish a survey result, and they say this is undermining national security because you said military, nobody trusts the police. That is threatening national security. So this is it.
Everybody should be worried. So journalists,
yes, I mean, eventually you make everywhere dumb and silent. And this is why, like in 2002, all right, right now, all citizens should stand against this. I mean, if we have to talk about the way forward, is to abandon this completely. And tell the minister what his job is to go and focus on his job. Go and make GRTS a truly national broadcaster. Review the GRTS Act so that the Director General of GRTS is not appointed directly by the president, is nominated at the National Assembly the board of directors the same way. All right? I mean, on all other state media that are there, make them public service providers. All right? Monetize social media in this country immediately. Support capacity building of our media. I mean, strengthen MAJAC, strengthen the media council. All right? These are the things you need to be doing. See, how do you create exchange, programs between Gambia media and international media? But and I didn't even say that also in the regulations. If, for example, part of your registration includes SIS
vetting. Yes.
Can SIS vetting? Can you imagine?
Part of the complementary institution is part of the vetting process. SIS.
So, I mean, how can the national intelligence screen journalists?
No, Ismail Nyanta Abute.
No, Ismail Nyanta Denala. I mean, but you know one thing, he will not win. He will not win this fight. No, he will not win this fight. He will not.
Definitely.
You cannot win the fight against the media. You know, at the end of the day,
it's not even supposed to happen in the first place.
Yeah, because what we can look at, like if you look at the regulations with regarding social media, this is ordinary members of the society who might have a large following, you know, and online platforms. The regulations are giving the minister the powers to designate people. The minister would sit in his office and decide, Mustapha, this. Mustapha now is a person with significant public outreach. It's the minister who will decide that now you are. So they designate you and you have to register. You know, that's how the regulations are designed.
No, it's serious.
Yeah, but
if you report documents,
yes,
it's super
that's
serious.
why, you know, us the media, we are channeling this and we are taking the fight. But people should be more concerned. You know, how many people are online who have large following?
Yes.
And I'm among the lawyers and the Minister of Justice.
Justice are telling them is unconstitutional.
But you know, Fatou, there is one thing Ismaila is relying on and his cohorts, the government people. And this is something that has been here for a very long time.
Yeah.
So they pounce on different abuse of social media.
Yeah.
So you are, of course, sate kafu tole osoto.
Yeah.
NPP tole osotle, UDP tole osotle, Mobi tole. Momola tole will go online and do whatever they want.
Yes.
Insult other people.
Yeah.
Say lies. Go and do whatever. I mean, they do anything.
Yeah.
So they use that opportunity to say, you see, these are journalists.
Yeah.
These people, that is why they need to be. So they say, no, freedom without responsibility.
Yeah.
But you know, it's a very good point.
Yeah.
But that is also what exposes their insincerity.
Insincerity.
Because when you talk about those insults, how many people have they arrested, invited for questioning, or they have said something that is incitement or insult?
Yeah.
Because those ones are critical of the president of the government. But the chief insulters in the NPP, the president supporters, people like Babu Karba.
They don't.
Babu Karba, I can't be banned. Yeah. And not to mention, when Sidi Mukhtar Toure, the current IGP, was installed as IGP in March 2024, his first press conference, he said, henceforth, in this country, I'm not going to tolerate insults, tribal rhetoric, but insults against elders and leaders of this country.
Yes.
He said that.
Yeah.
But he has called people, Ibrahim Adiba, former UDP, now UMC, is going to court, I think.
Yes, up to court.
But Toure was arrested
at
one point. I mean, Yankuba Darboe is in court.
Yeah.
I mean, I have been picked, I mean, many others, but then, you know,
Bahum keeps insulting everybody.
And insulting Gambians.
Yes.
Wow. That is insult. But the IGP did not go and arrest him.
No.
Not to mention others.
Yeah.
I mean, Saban sat here and said SFI is a vulture.
Yes.
Hamad Ba sat there and said opposition are rats. You know? But you don't go and arrest those people.
No.
You know, Baham don't for.
And they work on Molbene every day.
You face Usenu Darboe or Mama Kande and insult that person. So if there is any way you want to control social media or something,
he calls me all names.
You know?
Yeah,
but they don't do that. And then you come and try to use the same argument to want to infringe on our
responsibility.
But these people, even when they are on the platform, right? Some of them, they come on the platform, you interview them, but people are negatively commenting on the page. They tell you that platform, but they want you to delete those comments, or they say I'm like, this is an open space.
That will be censoring.
So, especially when people tell them, it's not even directly Keneng per se, but they tell them, it's not true. You're not saying that. These people,
in fact, if you check in most of our online communications, online is the most democratic space. Any information you put there right now,
somebody will react
to it.
Yes.
Anything, including our stories.
Yeah.
Any story you publish, people will react to it.
Yes.
If they feel like the information is not accurate, it's alternative, they will present it. Now, the thing about media now, media space is democratized.
Yes.
Okay? publication is not limited to journalists.
No.
So if you feel aggrieved, you go and publish your own
That's no
counter-information.
monopoly.
Yes, you go and publish your own counter-information. But what I want to say are twofolds. One is Ismaila should see positiveness in critical journalism. Everything Barrow administration pounds its case for in terms of accountability, they are related to media work.
Yes.
That's one important issue. And they could advance that and do more work towards strengthening media. They can take credit for it if they want to.
If they want.
That's what politicians do.
Yeah.
Take credit for everything. But they can take credit for it.
Yeah.
So we don't have a problem with that. But what certainly is not going to be acceptable to us is to conduct yourself in a way that brings them into how they can control our content.
Yes.
Yeah.
That we will not accept.
We will not accept.
Because investigative journalism is something that, except if we retire, it's something that we will continue to do. Fact-checking is something that we will continue to do. And certainly we will not need Pura to approve that for us, right? And so the other issue is that the public needs to understand. If there is, when they talk about threat to freedom, threat to speech, threat to institution in this country that has the capacity to pose threat to anything is the government.
It's government.
Yes. It has always been. Government is the biggest source of violence.
Yes.
Government is the biggest source of misinformation. Government is the biggest source of disinformation.
Yes.
If there is any enemy of the people, it's the government. They're the biggest abuse of public resources. And government is the only institution in this country that has established inquiries against itself, and its own inquiry has found itself to be liars, to be thieves, to be lawbreakers, to be human rights violators. There has not been any commission that has been established to look at our conduct as journalists and found us wanting. We've always conducted ourselves in the best way imaginable, best way possible. And from 2017 to now, not only have we been the architects of this freedom, but from independence. We existed in this country 200 years. I mean, since 1800, since the days of William Case Walcott, towards Edward Francis Smalls, the Balangar incidents and all those, towards Tixmane's cabinet reshuffle,
Dixon Colley,
Batambedu and others, Dixon Colley and others. We existed in this country 200 years of resistance. When the colonial masters pushed this way, we said we pushed this way. That's the Balangar incident and all this came as a result of that. Okay? We come to Jawara administration. It was not all rosy, as some people painted. Senator Tixmane was thrown to the wolves. If Gala did not exist, we would have suffered the fate of Senator Tixmane. Because the government in action would have opened a floodgates of lawsuits against us. The reason why Senator Tixmane was sued was because the government and nobody took the politicians to task. The contrary on the Barrow was that the politicians were instead taken to task. So they were investigated and put in the defense instead of investigating us and putting us in the defense. Okay? So we had over 200 years of resistance in this country. The air of freedom Ismaila breathed was our creation. It was created by our blood, tears, and our resources. And he doesn't even know how we struggle to This whole days, I have been talking to my people about me wanting to quit this year. I mean, they don't even know what we go through to do this job. I mean, you see this small boy, this journalist, he is disrespecting with 2 likes, 3 likes. Ismaila doesn't know their struggle. No, he doesn't. He doesn't even have the capacity to understand these people, their struggle.
No, he doesn't.
Like, he doesn't know what they go through, the difficulty in some of them are spending their own money
resources to get a story, to put a story out.
So when I sit down there, knowing what I know, going through what I go through, and I see Ismaila, a minister, paid fat salary, he's riding $9 million. So I mean, For me, this thing they are planning to do is not for me. If Ismail wants, he can sign this regulation
into law tomorrow.
I'll take it tomorrow.
Yeah, I will not register. I will not license myself. Yeah, no.
I'll not register.
I will not register. My entity will not register.
No.
It's a non-starter.
Yeah. So he can find me at my house.
Yeah.
But the point is, I want him to see the positive.
Yeah.
There is so much we can do together. There is so much the media has been doing from 1800s to date.
Yes.
And he has folks he had worked with in academia who can tell him that.
Yeah.
He can go and buy Nana Gray Jensen's book, Story of Newspapers in the Gambia, to read it and affect himself with our history.
Yes.
Okay, because I don't think he understands. And that's a tragedy, because a political science professor is supposed to know that.
He knows.
Because this is very connected to our political
power.
It's just corruption.
Political power.
It's just corruption and power.
We cannot exhaust this conversation.
Political power he is talking about is our creation.
Yeah.
Barrow himself is our creation. In fact, Barrow has no one to credit for what happened.
Yeah.
Better than he did us.
Yes.
In fact,
2017.
he took a picture with press freedom.
Yes.
Okay.
Because he understood then our role, but not anymore.
But even
if this law passes, remember when Barrow said that Minufanka platform would be Madi. Barrow would, the first person they will come after, why do you even have Madi on your platform? Because Madi's content is very controversial. Those are the kind of things they're trying to do. People don't understand. Critical voice,
but that will be sad. That will be sad.
That's what they want.
The voices, I tell them, Barrow, these people, they don't understand. Jame right now, the people, Tombon Jada, for example.
Yeah, our acting president.
Yes, acting president today. Tombon was with Jame.
Yeah.
Right? All throughout. He was his voice in chief in parliament. Right? When they left, Tombon pretended he was still with Jame.
Jame.
When Barrow gave him that job, he took it. Now, Tombong is part of the government, part of the political elites who have just appointed a special prosecutor to go and prosecute Jame.
Yes.
Allah.
Now, the irony is appalling. Okay? Now, Sidin Jai was with Jame.
Went to Equatorial Guinea with him.
He went to Equatorial Guinea with him. Now he's part of the political elites who have appointed a special prosecutor to go and prosecute Jame.
Yes.
Okay? In the early days, they said TRLC recommendations should be binned.
Not anymore.
And they talk about, they are offending, they are attacking Jolas.
Yes.
Now they are no longer the league in the defense of the Jola people.
Yes.
They are no longer in that league. Okay, what happens? Because this Barrow needs to understand, the Gambian people, for them, this is all about self-enrichment. This is all about money. This is all about class. This is all about privilege. This is all about abuse of resources. This has nothing to do. Nobody loves Barrow. And the earlier he knows that, the better.
Yes.
Nobody loves him.
They don't.
They did far more for Jame.
Yes.
So if he is in this moderate corner, he should sit down and think about it. But for Tombon, saying this Jamela Tombon, and other bands or he no Barrow, saying Ningta Barrow Bota, and I'm replaced by somebody who knows they will come and work with that person again. You look at already, I have done this. I have achieved.
Yes. No, he was the most decorated minister at Jame's time.
And he has done something. I mean, if I say this often, people will say, but you are even giving him credit. But no. But there is something that Barrow could look at and see in the positivity in the working relationship between journalists and the state.
Yes.
There's so much he could look at. We counted from the GPU, access to information law, all the things that GPU has been doing. Was towards improving. Government is taking credit for that. But GPU formed that document. All the media investigations that I've talked about. Okay? That they today boast of Dr. Banja, Jame Asset, we did the investigations. We did the investigations. All those things is the media that triggered those conversations. So he could look at that and thank the media for it. And also say, look, we can improve this further. Okay? But he should understand just one thing. Until Nala do what a killing. nala do ponte kilenti bitika tiyo lemu Gambian ol lemu bitika tiyoti ya barota ya karafandi bitikol yentol bula ka baro cross ite kilenti Kuel te kilenti. Yeah. So nite oje coming okay, these guys, they should come and tell my good news. I am in the yenta contible, I have submitted profits. That is not our business. Imantol bula.
Kati ye bula wala.
Yeta bula wala. That is your business. So you report that to them.
That's the thing. They tell us
you see what I mean?
You guys always write a negative story. But my job is not to write. That's why you have PR officers. Yes. I said that here several times. My job is not to show what you're doing. Like
now, it will be good.
You have
think
PR and
of all the people, of all the presidents we have, Barrow
he has
the best opportunity. Yeah, understand.
PR
the smallest and the little way you can.
Yeah.
Okay? And then that's it.
That's
Just confine yourself within what is, I mean, power, Mobuka Amarano. Jame nobody kept it. No. Jame couldn't keep power.
Yeah.
I mean, when the time came, what happened?
Yeah. So
what about the final with your final?
I think the point is, much as it is really frightening and disappointing.
Yeah.
And one can even say surprising. At the same time, it is also not surprising and even not disappointing from my perspective. Very early when this new government came, immediately I was convinced that this is not going to be the leadership that will take us. And even before end of 2016, I remember having engagements with people at the time. Some Gambians who've been in the diaspora for so long, 10 years, 20 years, so 30 years, excited about the opposition. And I remember telling them, look, the people who are coming to replace Jammeh, they are not necessarily great Democrats. All right. And they are politicians. I have, worked with a lot of these politicians, and so they are just in the opposition, but they are not necessarily great Democrats who are going to come and govern this country according to law and so on. All right. Yes, we would be hopeful and so on. But what is evident is that Barrow needs advice. First of all, to advise himself, because at the end of the day, Fatou, these things, there's nothing new. Yes, I mean, and the lessons are there right in front of your eyes. Yes, I mean, whether it's our culture or our religions or, the school of life itself and our education, the lessons are too many. So, no man is immortal. We are all taught about that. We have a limited lifespan. No man is one man, one woman. You are not powerful. Yes. Power is with the people. Yes. All right. And, whatever position you hold, you are just holding it at the mercy of, somebody. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And for a time. And, no matter what, the day of reckoning shall come.
Yeah.
Yes. So, when you hold any position, you need to humble down. Arrogance and to feel that you are invincible, you are eternal.
Yeah.
Like the way Dr. Ismail Cisse behaves and talks. Yes, it's you can't really contest with anyone on that.
No. Yeah.
Yes, I mean it's just because you have a position right now, they call it minister or president or IGP.
Yeah.
But realize that we just respect because of that position. Other than that, you are nothing more than anyone else. Yeah. All right? And so it happens, and it is happening. It has happened in the past that people be put in position of authority. This is why in 2016, 2017, if you recall, I used to say Adama Barrow, the chief servant.
Yes.
And I still stand by that. He's the chief servant.
They don't like that.
Which is our Mindan.
They don't like
a public servant. We are nothing but in Mindan.
They don't like that.
Right? To appreciate that.
Yeah. It's an important Mindan.
They don't like that though.
Yes, every Mindan is important.
Yeah.
you are nothing but minnanolomuit. So that you yena do ka nyama according to law. And you step aside and this life continues to go. But to think that you will come and think you have power, you will do things. No, because otherwise Jammeh would have been here until today. Yes, I mean, even Mr. Trump, who is, acting,
crazy.
Jesus.
A dictator,
Jesus
like Jesus in America. I tell you, one day we will see his tail between his legs walking into a prison. I have no doubts about it.
I do.
Yes. So it's as simple as that, because he's, co-evil man in Brazil. I don't know. Bolsonaro. He's sentenced to 30 years in prison already. I understand. So these things are not strange. Doctor is well educated. He is well informed. Whatever his action, you have to give that to him. All right. So that the question should be that he should ask himself, what do I bring to this ministry?
Yeah. What did I do since I came?
Yeah. I mean, what do I do in this ministry to help my country? What do I want to leave as my legacy? What difference do I want to make? And that is very easy to answer, because my first encounter with Doctor, when I didn't even know him, I didn't get to understand it was him only in 2017, but it was in 2011 or 12, probably, or 2011 or 12. Yeah, we, I've been organizing in this society. Yeah, we have a Pan-Africanist group. We wanted to organize a symposium to mark African Liberation Day, and we want to, as usual, speak to the issues. And to find speakers was always a difficulty. Usually it's only Halifa Saleh we would have. Yeah. I understand. Some of the guys came around and said, yeah, but there's a young lecturer at UTG. They said he's very bold, he's very brave. He talks about issues, just like that. Yes. He said, Mr. Ismail Assise. I said, yeah, let's have him as a speaker. We had it at Gambia College. And impressive. You know what I'm saying? Fast forward, I even forgot about that. Fast forward to 2017, when all these things came, and one day somebody reminded, but you don't remember, this boy, that was, I said, I didn't remember him, actually. I know he just came to and he gave a good speech and left, but I never actually registered, So, today, not 2017, until the formation of CA, Doctor knows the issues. Yeah. He knows the issues. So, if you have now this unique opportunity, go into public office. Yeah. And he claims he is there to help Mr. Barrow to develop this country. Yeah. That is not a difficult job. So follow the law. Follow best practices. Be honest, be professional, be ethical. Yeah. So that first and foremost, the GRTS you have, you should know that this GRTS, this is not the GRTS
you should know nobody's watching.
You should know that. Yeah. You should know that Pura needs a transformation. Yeah. Yes, that our telecoms industry, the way it is and everything, they are not doing their job. No. Deal with that. And so on and so forth. So, let's advise the man to humble down. He doesn't have monopoly of knowledge. No. He has no power whatsoever. He has authority. Yes. It's the people who have power. He has authority given to him by the people. According to the Constitution, Section 1, Subsection 2, says the sovereignty of the Gambia resides in the people of the Gambia. All the organs of the state derive their authority from the people. And they perform their functions on behalf of the people and for the welfare of the people. That's what Section 1, Subsection 2. So anybody who is in a public office, know that you have no power. Yeah. You just have authority given to you by the people. That is why I call them Bindan. Yeah.
That's the perfect
The Constitution never said public master. Yes. It says public servant.
Public servant.
Public officials.
That's the definition.
Yeah. And that is nothing but Bindan. Yeah. So humble down, what's your problem?
Humble yourself, my brother. Yeah. You. Well, what is the way forward? Final message. Yes. What do we do? We continue resisting?
Yeah, I would just say that like for the Gambia, because of we've been in this very long transitional process, we should avoid a situation where we go back to when there is another regime, there is a need for another truth commission, and those kind of things. Yeah. Because some of these regulations that we are bringing back now are things the Truth Commission has recommended that shouldn't happen.
Absolutely.
And we've already said never again. And we've all witnessed what had happened in the past. The Gambia should move forward as a country and should never go back to a dictatorship as it was, you know. And dictatorship starts with controlling the media. And, you know, for us, our position is, even though we are willing to dialogue, and we will, of course, initiate this dialogue in consultation with civil society partners that are supporting us, and also with media stakeholders, you know. But as far as we are concerned, you know, we do not support this idea of state regulation, especially through a state-controlled government entity. You know, we do not support this idea. Therefore, we do not accept, as we have said from the beginning, and will not accept. But we are open to dialogue if the ministry, Dr. Cisse and his ministry, and as well as Pura, are ready to support us to strengthen, you know, the Gambian media and media development, you know, and as well as media regulations through an independent media regulatory mechanism like the Media Council of the Gambia. I think this is the way forward for us, and we are open to and ready for dialogue.
Mustapha, final message. What's your message to Dr. Cisse?
Doctor,
Look at that camera,
for most times, because I think what needs to happen. Dr. will be and including Barrow, they need to have a different perspective. And the perspective they need to have, if you are in public office, because public office starts with the creation of a state, of a government, of a society. So it will if you're in public office, the privileges are too numerous. Sometimes you are what in the America they call trapped in the bubble. So you are in your own world, but this is a make-believe surrounded by political reality. So that maybe NAWEC would not even be off at your area. Or maybe if there is NAWEC, there is backup generator, you have enough cash flow to make things work. If you are president, this kind of privileges, so you are trapped. But if you are in the public office, you should always think of a Gambia you can appreciate to live in without being in privileged position. Think of a Gambia outside of that privileged circle. Then you live the reality. So it lasts. So if you think of Gambia and you think of the media, some of us, I mean, for a larger part, I do freelance journalism to support my own investigations. That's a very difficult position to be. Okay? And there are a lot of folks who do the same thing. I mean, what he is doing, even his activism work at the union, he also has to do side things to subvent. He didn't have to be at the union. It's a struggle. To be in that environment, right? And a lot of us who are also trying to serve our democracy in a different way. We all have our challenges, right? A lot of them. So you don't even know the struggles of these individuals, and now you are talking about tax, money, this, that, and that. You don't even know. Like, so because these guys are so consumed in privilege that for them, even if they give them a tukumbo, a used vehicle, they wouldn't drive it. Because for them, privilege is way too high. Right? But so our world doesn't thrive on that kind of privilege. Our world thrive on, you know, just as it has always been. Edward Francis Small could have served the colonialist. He didn't do it. Okay, Jonkuna Dafe could have joined Jawara administration. He didn't do it. Or Uncle Sam and others could have gone to the public service, the information service. They couldn't do it. Because for them, they have found that this profession that we have inherited has a history. And that history has a basis in our, not just our orientation, but it has a basis in sort of the development of this country. And so if you can falter, that's your business. But for us, we are married to that. And we wouldn't compromise that, you know. And so I think doctors should come back. And like he said he wants to dialogue. So if he wants to dialogue, let's go back to the basis. Not the drawing board, the basis. The Gambia without those two regulations. and then we start the dialogue from there.
Yes.
But so long as those two regulations are on the table, you cannot dialogue.
No.
Because they are
Yeah.
a red line.
Yeah,
You
red
cannot
line.
dialogue with that.
Yeah.
So I think that's what he needs to do.
Yeah.
We recalibrate and we tone down a bit so that he also takes a
abuka sino you know anya I goes to I back so
I think I can understand also his frustration because this is his constituency.
He loves
and
the
I know
media.
Barrow counts on him to sort of work with his constituency. And so the fact that his constituency is protesting
against him.
Yeah, so that can be an uncomfortable place to be in. But he has to take a chill pill and say, look, why are you protesting? Why are they protesting? They are protesting because of an action and before they protest, they made me know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so the union is ever ready.
Yeah.
I mean, these people, it was a meeting, you were there.
I was there.
It was a meeting that took the general membership that took a decision that we need to do this.
Yeah.
So if he needs to just reach out to the union and we take the things back to basic, we are ever ready.
We're ever ready. The thing is, and he also threatened us. If we boycott him, we are boycotting the government.
That is not going to
and
work.
he is going to boycott. But he
Yalo-
understand
you know Yalon Doctor.
Mustafa and we're attending coma stuff. He's okay.
But Yalon
This is
Doctor
not about money for some people.
Yala
That's what he doesn't understand.
Avoid la fang.
Yeah.
We are a lot of journalists are very mild in this country.
Yeah.
Interest is just to make life difficult for his administration.
It's going to be crazy.
Practically, though, the government cannot boycott
The media. No.
Because in any case, investigation will continue. And if the investigations are ready, we will send you a right of reply.
Yes.
If you don't respond,
You go
thank you.
ahead.
That's fine. I mean, we've done that in many cases. There are people who refuse to reply a right of reply.
So what
just
you
go
can
ahead and
do
Yeah.
to go and arrest every journalist
Yes.
and close every journalist, burn down every journalist.
Burn down
and let him do that
every
and you see what
office.
will happen.
Do that and see.
Yes, yes.
To option for Lebija because boycott.
He cannot boycott any.
His boycott will not
And
work.
to opposition, opposition to borrow 2020.
Yeah,
He cannot boycott.
You cannot boycott.
Opposition.
It's not
That
possible.
line, he need to draw a bigger line
Yeah.
between journalist and opposition.
Yes.
Okay? Ndol mantra of Hilo. Now, Nintol more positionality, or he creates a need
Yeah.
for Gambian journalists like us to see Barrow as an opposition. That's not going to be a very good place to be in if you are an information officer. Right?
Yeah, that's not gonna be too good.
No to avoid.
No to avoid.
Ngakacha.
Ay nana.
Baka usko nga sonka barinkana wali.
Ako nga sonka barangana wali. Ay to nyalo po de. Dr. Sise nga sonka kana wali. You cannot win a fight against the media because this is election year. Unless you want to arrest every Gambian journalist and burn down every media house. I don't know how. I don't know how you're going to survive. But you're going to create the Pandering Bice and others. Mini Halonko, they will bring alternative journalism, not verifying information. You're going to create voices, and then I don't think this is what you want.
You end up at ICC.
Yes, and I don't think that is what you want in an election year. And don't threaten us because some of us, ila kodoliwe minu kuntula mo Mustapha oman tianding ko manu
and we are surviving this.
Ni mo survive
Suppose I'm the TikTok.
So those sa kanya kamari TikTok.
Let them monetize TikTok.
Let them monetize.
That's what they should do.
But the reason why they don't monetize TikTok and social media is all strategic. It's based near okay. Ika mutadami wolong advertisement ulti. Now we will have money on social media. Anybody makes $5,000 to $6,000 on social media. That is viable for medium business in this country. And they don't want to do that.
Why? Because
they don't want to do that. Okay.
Yes.
Mimbekela ibe symbol, so you are empowered. And when you are empowered, you're not scared of losing those advertisements. And that is why they are not doing any effort to monetize.
But
the thing is, don't threaten us.
under colonialism.
Yeah.
This is, in fact, far worse.
Yeah.
This is what we did under Jawara.
It akala de monetization. Ajibe for that moila.
Under Barrow. So that's what
We will bring it up in our discussions.
They will not do it. Ako nga fon every minister na tangka for. But he book any step towards it because near okay, on influencers or ike symbol a dealer. They're getting influence, they're getting money, and that is not good for people. Mini along ko left the critical voice is suppressed, and that's what they're doing. But nimo okay fanang. People are surviving and people will continue to survive. We will resist.
You know he was arrested because of my story.
But, yeah.
Yes.
Then I interviewed 2018.
Yeah.
2018.
Boy,
Late 17.
Na mo en call wala fa ngam ya long take state house mun tala mole wala mo ga mu MPP.
Yeah, ite mo ila mo. And the war story journalist school I mean for journalists. Doctor sister.
I mean for so in fact they said they were going to arrest me the order but a lot of time on the benya modem mal because a lot of time on political correspondent state house in suit.
Yeah.
Modem mal all time.
But for him to think this way, I think more follow me arrest and truly it was because of a publication on the media.
And this will be resisted.
Yeah. No,
ala kunde buntalo le mu aning hada mading buntalo na hana be jiyo kono ni ko basikala ke bun. Ndola do ko bundirol.
Yeah. And the government, let it be clear. We're not boycotting the entire government. We're only boycotting Ismaila Cisse.
Except if Ismaila escalates.
Yes. Ismaila escalator. Bita next level, but as we speak,
which is not in his interest.
Yes, as we speak, Ismaila le boycott because atelebe manya ke kang aban disrespect kang amanda wala kata media household kumul failang kang, and then he's adamant about this.
Aben ko kuma
lang ang
because ako intelligence ako wala qualification na GPU pejo da be volta ka intelligence ko.
Audio mo kabi amari are ko da kinyi na kunyo kung kay hey hadinda lang sa ente mo pengel dinda dala tendela so la bari hadinda nga publish pub.
Above all too, he is just giving the country a bad press.
Yeah.
Because now international platforms have started to pick this.
Yeah.
Issue in state.
All the ICJ, IFJ, all these, you know, all the media groups, you know, it's not even good for their index. The Media Freedom Index was growing. This is going to affect it. I mean, I don't know what he's thinking. He doesn't understand, but he's drunken by political power.
At any effect sort of.
Yeah, he's
because until many cake and story many cake. They will continue to come.
They will continue to come.
Put him forward. Yeah. So saying you are wasting your time, blah blah blah, all this talk, Alen kacha jambal be. You just sit down, we talk like brothers, like people who are shareholders in this Gambia business, right? So we take it from there.
Yeah. So and if I were to advise him, if I'm in his position, tomorrow Friday, I'll just unannounced go to GPU. Yeah, understand.
Yeah.
And withdraw all of these things.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he has more than enough information as to what is necessary.
Yes.
To grow the media, to strengthen democracy, good governance, transparency, and accountability. That is what his president sings about. That is what the government people sing about. So how do we strengthen that? And I'm sure Joof would give him a catalog.
Yes.
And you tell him, then I'm going to work on this. All right? You leave a legacy because at the end of the day, you are also a minister at the mercy of the president. You know, they like to say, I'm a minister at the pleasure of the president.
Yes.
Now, what if that president removes you tomorrow? You know, what is going to happen?
And this is what happens.
Before that happens, I mean, do something so that even if that president leaves you tomorrow, because history is there. We would say during his tenure, these are the great strides done by Dr. Ismaila Cisse. He has transformed GRTS into a public broadcaster. He has strengthened, empowered the media council at Majak. He has, monetized TikTok. He has provided capacity building. You can list them, the good things that you can do. Bearing in mind, you are talking about a profession.
Implemented the access to information.
Implemented the access to information. I mean, all
there is a very strong collaboration between Majak and the universities.
I mean, you go and create a transitional justice committee in your ministry or a task force. Call it task force. Tell them, review the white paper. All media-related recommendations. Can you put them on my desk? So that I start implementing those things. And one of those things is GRTS transformation. It's in the TRC recommendation.
Yes.
Review of media
Laws.
media laws. It is in the GRTS recommendation.
TRS.
I mean, accountability for harassment and of media.
Yes.
So you work on those things.
Yeah.
So there's so much work for this man to do than to make yourself a content creator. For the government, with elaborate press conferences, decorating halls.
He has no policy. All he does is jumping from one radio station to another press conference. That's all. Thank you so much. And I said this to one lawmaker one time when they were doing even Lodole pass. Kankaiko, Alual pass me alko soma. Nal mantara on this side of the aisle.
Yes.
Asal satisfy no. Alonko be made a pro government nya soma ebekala opposition to. GPU be in 1979. Akita government jele kita saba minister jele bor hanim baro government. This is I think I tell on third information minister. Third or fourth kodi Dr. Sise baro be bola janne Dr. Sise be bola jang bari GPU be tarla janne and the new policy be tarla janne. Nin policy bijan soma ate Dr. Sise mi nin policy dundi abina affect la because abe lumbe sila abe lafla la voice la abe lafla ka diamu abe restrain la because of this policy he put mol KGB akan modol be nim banko ka
kono le moe na kot vangola journalist keba I media commission media bill sama na information act 20 something 2013 vangola journalist keba na da kabu sa banaka ngolo sala duma
ngole foy modol bije modol be nim banko ka
ma wa de barenga jibe aka
hani nim government fanko na jibe modol ni bota ni be government iko kumo be foy mol attack ni bota government the first thing they do is come to us to speak because they need a platform to speak puri molie moy and that is critical voice ni they was shut down be amita nyaonya Barrow will not find you useful. He will let you go just like he's letting everyone else go.
Imagine 2015 Jame Elections Act.
Yeah.
I revised. They made registration of political parties $1 million.
Yes.
But today these people took it to 2 million.
Yeah.
So APRCB, I don't think they have 1 million for nomination of a presidential candidate.
So this is the thing. Lua de Dami Alonso Soma
against them.
Yeah, Lua de
they cannot even put up a candidate.
They cannot even. So Lua de Dami Alonso.
I don't even know. You come but I don't even know why you busy yourself over something alonko. Controlling it is not in your custody.
It's not even possible.
Controlling presidency is not in Barrow's custody. He has no control over it. He just he will just he will just leave. Barrow came. Barrow mandoku fangake. I'm telling you, I was there.
He was the lion that killed him.
Go. Ntebe jele ntolu 2016. Yeah. Ntolu be panic. Yalo journalist solu kwa time pareta like moli ya feel kwa jambe atayabu. Ate nyanka ate mfudrong. Because now that tulajang tension on be carrying there will be violence.
Yeah.
Nobody wanted violence. So Jamie at 8 out, let's have a fresh start. Then we can say choco loku, then we see what to do. So until Tata Chebaje Fankonyang at Brikama SSP, UDP, the final meeting. But everybody was looking up to UDP for a final solution because UDP was the major party.
Yeah.
Whatever decision they make will determine what was going to happen. So Tata J Molbe Fenke Molbe Diamta, then Barrow was the last person. Kewaje fankonye yamera ite nyine chusla ngai no nyinte presidential material ngai ite chusla tabarakallah elo ala wala tombo nte tata banjulu nte Sekou Jammeh Emile Touré Lamin Cham UDP ko kanela candidate wala unveil data banjul that was after ndala SSP comment yes ngal nimbaro yo mo jelo ba fala data SSP in data UDP manjai ila biro to no banjul. So kachaketa Barrow came. Barrow was sitting down. Ndolo kona amamu fang sude Lamin Cham ko. Only Lamin Cham he recognized. Bulote Chambulu. So Ntolo we introduced ourselves and he was sort of expressing how much if this were in the UK how much newspapers and other people would have been speculating on who the likeliest candidate of UDP was going to be. So, he was being passionate about that. And so for us, it will be a baro to mom. You can't candidate or baro state ultra statement or read. Totally ajibe. Ini tolu pata jeng kompo tabaraka.
Iko dalan.
So the only thing UDP could tell us at that time was nyeng a farmer manding quality a mama ol musara ule la kulu ala musol mu fulol ta ba mam fulol coming to show us how presentable socially Baro is based on his background. That's the only thing. So diaspora ko len speaking in Safai Baro was speech from Kerr Fatou moy ala tentu drum. I was speaking reading told but I had broken.
What's that?
You did I mean, accidents people in Kaimel for and told we are heartbroken. Because everybody wanted transformation at that time. But fast forward, Baro Tata, he went on it.
Yeah.
And I look at Yaton Kotombondro, I Barol Tombo. I'm all dearly do Pokai.
Yes.
Things people do, Baro had no idea.
Yes.
He didn't know people who went to IEC to burn down the carts.
Yeah.
Tumani Jallo was killed because of that.
Yeah.
Tumani didn't know. It was just some soldiers who did it. When they were leaving, they texted Tumani, boy, we are leaving, take care of my family. Jongulas, they didn't even investigate. They picked Tumani, they went and killed him.
Yeah.
He's one of the last soldiers.
Wow. Kujamal like it.
Like Baro, of course, for me, I don't subscribe to the idea that Komafanaman Penke, he just became president out of luck. He must have done something. Everybody, for everything, myself, all the stories I publish, if people didn't come to me with those information, how would they have been published?
No.
That wouldn't be. So you can only take credit of something reasonably. Yeah. So you can take credit of, the change and the role he played in it.
Yeah. But don't take ownership of everything.
I attend to Fanade.
Mol Fanaya Katal.
Yes.
Mol Yakata. Program jump for 2 hours, 30 minutes, or 3 hours. I don't know. But it was worth it because this is a fight me along a man can told them much. Nini policy tamita na kitabe minkela banko ka muma dangolo. Hopefully Ismaila will know Nying will catch up with him tomorrow Sakunda, and he will come back to the table and go sit with the GPU. As far as we are concerned, the boycott continues for the ministry and Ismaila Cisse. We are not boycotting government, but him as the minister, Mimbe champion. Until we come back your way next week. Good night to you all. See you again. Thank you very much, gentlemen. See you again. Bye-bye.
Looking for the perfect home away from home in the Gambia? Welcome to BC's Residence, your ideal short stay apartment in the heart of Bundu. Whether you're visiting for business, pleasure, or an extended stay, BC's Residence offers you the comfort, convenience, and privacy you deserve. Enjoy spacious, well-appointed accommodations in a peaceful neighborhood just behind Nusrat High School. Our residence combines modern amenities with authentic Gambian hospitality, ensuring your stay is both comfortable and memorable. At BC's Residence, you are not just booking a room, you're finding your perfect base to explore all that the Gambia has to offer. Ready to book your stay? Contact us today. +220-941414. bcsresidence@gmail.com. BC's Residence, Bundum, behind Nusrat High School. Your comfort is our priority.
Jah Oil ñoom ñoo jiitu si wàllum jaay essence si biir réew mi te ñu def ko warugal pour kontaan loo suñu client yi boroom moto yi ak driver yi seen jaaxare jeex na léegi pour am essence bu baax ak njëg bu yomba lii sax moo tax ñu amal leen banxaas fépp si biir réew mi pour essence bu baax bu set benn place rek la muy Jah Oil soo soxlae essence bu set essence bu baax gasoil wala kérosine naa la wax ne Jah Oil rek mooy jëmukaay ga doxantul rek si bépp banxaasi Jah Oil nga am si bànneex ak Jah Oil seen bànneex mooy suñ taxawaay moo tax ñu amal leen banxaas bépp si biir réew mi nim gën a yombee pour yow ak suñ liggéeykat yu xarañ yi naa la won ne mbégte rek nga see jël pour am essence bu baax pour say machine fenn place rek la mooy sa Jah Oil ak Jah Oil bànneex kese la moo tax sax suñ station si nekk ca Costa Road ak Banjul wàññil nañ leen njëgi essence bi foofu noonu pour am si lu leer mun ngaa call si 770-8080 322-9070 714-7273 wala 787-1321 Jah Oil, the pride of the nation.
Bank, because we take pride in satisfying every customer's financial needs.
Introducing the future of hassle-free and seamless financial transaction. The Una Wallet app, empowering you to effortlessly manage your money anytime, anywhere. With the Una Wallet app, you can now enjoy branchless banking, wallet-to-wallet transfer, wallet-to-cash, and bank cross-border payments. Deposit at a bank and withdraw from any Una branch. Get ready to experience the ultimate banking convenience with the Una Wallet app. With just few taps on your phone, you can effortlessly add funds, withdraw, and send money to your loved ones. The Una Wallet app also provides a detailed history of your transaction, making it easier to track your expenses. So, what are you waiting for? Download the Una Wallet app today on Play Store or App Store and say goodbye to hustle of traditional banking. Uno Forex Bureau Limited, delivering much more than money.